Check, check, check.
Ba-da-dun-dun-dun.
Check, check, check.
Ba-da-dun-dun-dun.
Check the mic.
Ba-da-dun-dun-dun.
Check the mic.
Ba-da-dun-dun-dun. Welcome back.
We're doing it. We're doing the show.
Sam, we're doing another episode.
We're
You're here. We have beautiful hats on.
We're doing the damn thing. I'm just making sure everything's on.
Everything's on.
Did you like the check?
I did. I like when we do check songs. I think every episode should start with some form of a song, don't you?
I like to start in a harmonious tone.
Look at our girl, guys. Look at our girl, huh? Isn't that our girl? Samantha Lee Lopez. That's our girl, Beans. Welcome back. Post Super Bowl Sunday, bro. This episode dropped. Literally, the Super Bowl just happened. I'm gonna guess, because we filmed this a couple days before, Tom Brady won. We got to pick our numbers too. I'm gonna say Tom Brady. Bucks
dude,
won.
I can't do that.
Bucks won. My score 38. Chiefs. No, too high. Bucks 31. 32. Bucks 32. Chiefs 28. That's my final score. Bucks 32. Chiefs 28.
Okay.
Tom Brady wins his 7th Super Bowl ring. What is your prediction, Samantha? God, if I'm right, we could have won a lot of money.
Gosh, you really could have. See, I'm having a difficult time because I'm trying to think of the possibilities of numbers that it could be because, like, there's different.
Don't go too nerdy on me. Just go with your gut here.
I'm going to say 27.
2.
21.
Who wins?
I'm going to say Patrick.
Patrick Mahomes beats him.
But
beats
I
the
think
GOAT.
that's what I'm saying for wishful thinking because this is what I don't want to see.
What do you not
want
wanna
to
see?
I don't want to see. I don't want to see Patrick lose and then have to spend his rest of his career like
chasing this ghost.
Yes, because if Tom loses, it
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. He's already the GOAT, and then he's he can leave, and it's crazy that he even made it to another Super Bowl with the Bucks.
Yeah.
And on his own, pretty much. It really proves who he is, right?
Yeah, he already proved it. He won getting there.
Yeah.
I mean, he won. He didn't have to get there. He
didn't even have to do this.
He's Tom Brady.
He's already Tom Brady.
He already won.
But if he wins again, then all of Patrick's career is trying to outshine Tom, and then Tom becomes this kind of Michael Jordan fixture, and this is what happens. We have the situation we run into now where everyone's like, oh, is LeBron James as good as Michael Jordan? And then everyone who's old is like, no one could ever be better than Michael Jordan. What are you talking about? Why would you even suggest such a thing?
And then what does everyone young say?
And everyone who's young's like, hey, he's doing the thing. I don't know how much more he could prove that he's as good, maybe better than Michael Jordan.
He's done a lot.
Yeah. And I don't want to see that for Patrick because I like Patrick. He's a good guy.
I love Tom.
I love Tom too, but he doesn't need any more.
He doesn't. His wife is perfect.
He's got
his
everything.
Family's perfect. He's as rich as anyone could be rich.
Yeah.
He
clearly has a good relationship with his kids.
And the success that man has had is literally more successful than any other person in any other field of a career. Besides maybe LeBron James, because LeBron's still playing. They're both still playing. So also, no one knows if Tom could win this or lose this and play again next year.
He could, and he could win all over again.
That's what
I'm
saying. So it's like, what is this even? What are we really talking? Until he says he's done, you can't even you can't put a button on his career yet.
No, you can't. But that being said, I'd hate to do that. Patrick, he's this young guy. He's clearly gearing up to for GOAT level
he already there. He's already there. Yeah. He's already there.
I would just hate for him to have to every interview, every sports thing that they're talking about when his name comes up, it's
they always bring up that he lost to Tom.
He lost to Tom back in 2021. So is he really the GOAT? It'll be that.
Now here's a question for you. Because I just pondered this. Mm-hmm. Tom wins. He beats him.
Okay.
They play again next year. Patrick beats him back. Then Tom retires.
That would be fine.
So that's fine.
That's
even
fine.
though because then it's like, oh, he lost to him, but he beat him, so it evens out.
But it has to go down like that. It can't be like next year Patrick makes it to the Super Bowl and wins against some other team.
No matter who, even if it's Russell Wilson or somebody.
It's crazy because it's like, okay, in that scenario, Tom's playing again, doesn't make it to the Super Bowl, but still, because he won against Patrick.
Well, he won 7.
Yeah, and he won against Patrick last time.
Yep.
He'd never have a chance of, Patrick would never have a chance of clearing his name.
You have to beat him in the Super Bowl, is what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you this. Let's flip it.
Okay.
Pat, your boy, goes the score you just said, 27-21, Patty wins. Yeah. They run it back. Tom goes, I'm playing again then. Okay. He beats Patrick Mahomes next year.
Oh, next year. So Pat wins this year.
Can Pat, so you see what I'm saying? Now can Pat, even though it went out like, because Pat beat, I think
that would be fine. I think that would still be fine.
Pat can still catch him.
It's only if Patrick,
Tom beats him and he retires.
And nothing happens.
Well, now nothing can't.
There's no like rematch. You know,
that's it.
If Patrick beats him once, and then Tom beats him the second time, it doesn't matter.
Or vice versa.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because Patrick beat him at one point.
That's fair. That's fact.
And this is the other thing. Hey, Tom Brady.
Hey, Tom Brady. We know you listen.
You don't have to win this one. You know, like even if you lose this one, no one's gonna be like,
"You're still the GOAT. You're still the GOAT."
Oh, Patrick's better than Tom. No, you know what they're gonna be like? Well. Tom is like 42 and Patrick's like 22.
And if Patrick does this for his career, then I guess it's like, well, so wait a minute. We're still talking about something that no matter what happens, is 15 years down the line.
Yeah. So I just don't feel like he needs to win. They're still going to act like Tom is the GOAT no matter what.
Also there's this, let's say Patrick beats him because football is football. Mm-hmm. He beats him. And he wins another Super Bowl next year. He wins 3 in a row. And then he horrifically breaks his leg on some Alex Smith shit. And then it's over. And it's over. So then, you know what I'm saying? It's like, what? Because to compare him to Tom now, he's 25. Tom's 43. When Tom won his first Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes was 6 years old.
That's insane.
So it's like you have to give Patrick, win or lose, you have to give him the time to even see what he becomes.
Oh yeah, of course. But I'm just saying, I don't want for my Patty Mahomes. This is what I don't want.
I thought you had Lamar.
Of course, both I have Lamar. There's several that I love and enjoy for different reasons.
You like the young pups, the Baker. You like the young boys.
I do like the young guys. I like this generation.
What about and then are the older guys? Who do you like the best between Tom, Aaron, and Drew?
I like Tom because he's familiar. My whole life.
He won all the Super Bowls.
Also, he's been in my life the entire time.
Because you don't watch football, but you watch Super Bowls, and who's always there? The last
Tom, and also he's like he's a fixture. Go take football out of it. He's just someone who's around.
And also, when people talk, also like in common knowledge, when people talk about success, he comes up.
Yes.
Like when people say like the idea of winning or the concept of being the best.
Tom Brady,
Michael Jordan. Those are the names that come up. That's the standard. You know, but what makes Tom so cool is that he's still playing. Like Michael, there's this aspect. Of course, he was the man, and then now we're 20 years removed, and there's this great documentary, and it's like it's legendary status. Like so many people who are alive today, who are young, have never seen Michael Jordan play.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like you, I mean, did you ever see him play?
No, why would I ever?
Exactly, I saw him play a little bit
on TV.
On TV.
Oh, I've seen him play on TV.
You were a kid still.
Yeah.
But you saw him. Okay, so but a lot of people, literally, if you're a little bit younger than us, you never saw him. A little bit younger. If you're a year or two younger than us, you never saw him play. It is cool that, I mean, Tom Brady's still playing.
Tom Brady is still playing.
He's in the Super Bowl.
He's also still on his game. Like
he's still the best.
He's still in the pocket, you know.
He's still one of the, did he have the best season? Like who had a better season between him, Mahomes, and Aaron Rodgers? Well, Aaron Rodgers, I'd say he had I'd say he was the 3rd, 4th best quarterback in the league this year. But at 43 years old,
that's not bad.
Also, he's never not been the number 1 or top 5 quarterback that season. Ever. In his 20-year career, there's never been a year where, other than the year he got hurt and didn't play the whole season. Mm-hmm. You know? Like, that's insanity.
It is insanity.
It is crazy that we're talking about this and they know who. Like,
you guys already know.
They're like, oh, this conversation is stupid because we know the answer.
We know.
Well, we don't.
We don't know yet.
So we're excited.
We are excited. I'm pushing for Pat. Although
I kind of want Tom to win. I don't know why.
Cool,
and I love Pat, but I want Tom to win.
Because it would be like, wow, this guy's really cemented himself.
And it just shows what's possible in life.
But I just hate, because I keep thinking about if you guys watch that Michael Jordan documentary.
Yes.
Every interview with Kobe, You could
Well, there's only one.
Well, yeah. But even like I've seen other interviews with Kobe where they bring up Michael Jordan. And it's like, yeah, I get it. He's Michael Jordan. Like, that's Kobe's whole vibe. And
LeBron that way. I mean, they all that way.
LeBron, too.
But also, hey, to be fair, when you ask Jordan about those guys, it's the same response of like, yeah, they're good. But, I'm Michael Jordan.
Yeah, but when people are asking Michael Jordan about those guys, they're asking him like, hey, you're Michael Jordan. In your professional opinion, what do you think of these guys? Mm-hmm. Whereas they're asking Kobe and LeBron like, hey, what do you think about the best player that's ever existed and you'll never touch him? Like, that's
because
pretty much.
Because we won't let you.
Because we won't let you. And I don't want that for Patrick. I don't. Because he's such a sweet, sweet boy.
He is a sweetie pie.
He's so sweet. I like him so much. He's so charismatic. He's
the face.
He's a really great winner. Like some people win and it doesn't suit them. Like it makes them ugly. And I'd say Tom's kind of like
Tom's that way makes him win. People hate. I mean, just like Patrick Mahomes, if he keeps winning, people are just going to naturally hate him.
But Patrick just has such a likability about him. I don't hate him yet for winning all the time.
And I remember when everyone didn't hate Tom. It was when Tom won number 4 and then he won number 5.
We get
and
it.
It was like, okay, dude, nobody wins this many Super Bowls. That's crazy. Yeah. It's Super Bowls. They're so hard to win. Because in basketball, this is what I like about basketball. The best team always wins, no matter what year, because they have to play 7 games. Each round is 7 games. It's best out of 7. So if you play a team 7 times, whoever wins the 4 games is the better team. Oh yeah,
and in football you can kind of get X'd out.
You can have a good game, and the other team have a bad game,
or you just be in a you're the best team in a really bad division, and now you get a good game in the wild card round. Like there's all these elements in football that could push you to the top.
That could push you to win a Super Bowl. And were you necessarily the best team? I mean, yeah, you were you had the best playoff run and all these things, but not always.
It doesn't necessarily mean
team win, because motherfuckers could just get. I mean, look, the great example was the 2 Tom Brady lost, where he lost to Eli Manning. Mm-hmm. Both times he was favored to win by like 20 points, and Eli Manning and the Giants pulled out a miracle. A miracle, and that happens in sport. Literally, the movie Miracle is about miracles.
I mean, yes, it is.
Because when it's a one and done situation, anything can happen.
It's a good sports movie.
It's a great sports movie.
Maybe my favorite.
But also, if they played that Russian team 7 times, they might only won 1 game.
They probably wouldn't have won all of it.
They would have just won 1. Maybe 2 if they're lucky. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's why Super Bowls, for Tom Brady to have won 6 and been to 9 and now 10, it's like it's because there's so many factors. There's so many elements to the game that he has no control over what's going on defense.
No.
Like when you're playing basketball, I play offense and defense. If I'm LeBron James or Michael Jordan,
I
have a say.
You can pick up where people are slack. Yeah.
I can pick up Tom Brady.
Tom Brady can only throw the ball.
He can only throw if the defensive line is just getting blocked and they're just getting ran through. He can't go out there and be like, oh, well, let me go pick up the slack on the D line.
Yeah, I guess the closest thing a quarterback can do to picking up the slack is running the ball.
Yeah, but even still,
that's only if the option
if your defense is getting scored on, it's like Tom Brady can have the greatest game ever tomorrow, Sam, and he throws 5 touchdown passes, but they lose 42-49 because Patrick Mahomes also had a great game, and you see what I'm saying?
I see exactly what you're saying.
Like football, there's so many. It's such a team game.
It's a team game, guys.
It's such a team game.
I'm stoked for you guys to listen to our debate about this because you already know the answer.
I know.
She'll be like in the side comments when it premieres, because that's when they really we get a lot of comments when it's.
And I can't wait for them to be like, wrong. Darren's wrong. Sam wrong.
We don't care.
Yep, it's over. It was a blowout. Watch it be like a blowout, not an exciting game, and it's like, okay, dude, whatever.
We're sorry.
I'm assuming it's gonna be a blowout because the last blowout in the Super Bowl was the Broncos when Peyton Manning beat Cam Newton in 2015.
Okay.
That's a long time ago.
I don't even remember that game.
I know it was a blowout. It's not wasn't an exciting one.
I was high in 2015. I might not have been even in the country at that point. So
you might not have watched it. They don't watch Super Bowl in Australia. Sure, they do.
They do, but you have to go to bars that open specifically for the Super Bowl because it's at the wrong
for footy.
Time. It's at the wrong time of the night because they're on the opposite side of the world.
Oh my God! It's like 3 a.m. Huh?
Yeah, so there's certain bars that will open up for the Super Bowl, and it's like not all of them do it. Obviously, it's just big sports bars.
Also, I'm sure you're also getting all these expats, isn't that what they call them? Americans who live in other countries?
Yes.
So they're expatriates.
Expatriates. Yeah, expatriate fans, which is a lot like a lot of the Tom Brady fans.
Oh, God, all these people who are all of a sudden. I mean, I would too. If Tom Brady, if I'm a New Englander And Tom Brady took me to 9 Super Bowls and won 6 of them, which is more than any. Tom Brady has more Super Bowls than all the other franchises. So him as a person, he has more Super Bowl and playoff wins than like the Saints or the Bears and
crazy.
stuff. Like that's how the dude is on another level. So if I'm a Patriots fan and he gave me 20 years of that, I can give him 1 year cheering for the Buccaneers.
The guy at the grocery store said he was going to cheer for Tom Brady.
Yeah, because he's a New England fan.
Yeah, we're really in New England.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, to me, you are such a not true sports person. If you're like Patriots only, oh, he left, loot like. Mm-hmm. It's like, wow, so 6 Super Bowls wasn't enough for you, huh? Mm-mm. Not yet. There's people. I mean, like what? You're a Raven, and I tell you all the time how spoiled you are because you guys have 2 Super Bowls and you guys have all these winning seasons. But Sam, that's only 2.
That's only 2. But we've only existed since like '93 or something like
that.
But
in that time, Tom Brady's won. Sam, it's in that time that he's won the 6 and lost the other and went to 9. So that's why it's like, no, this guy is. We saw something that was unreal. Because I get
it is crazy.
The Jordan LeBron thing I understand because Jordan won. He got to 6 and won 6. That doesn't make sense. That's on some Tom Brady shit. It was like, whoa, he got to 6 and won 6. Whereas LeBron got to 10. He's only won 4, but he's got to 10.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
But there's an argument to be had of like, well, what's more important? Getting there all the time or just getting there the couple times but winning all of them. Whereas Tom Brady's like, you know what? I'll shut all of this down. I'm going to get to 10 and I'm going to win 6.
Yeah, win the majority.
So that's why when it comes to football, there is no debate on who the GOAT is.
Yes.
It's Tom Brady.
Of course. And that's my point. I don't think he needs to win another one. Leave some room for these young guys.
No, you leave no room. Also, that's what makes it better because not only does he not leave room for the young guys, hey, who's the best young guy? Oh, this Patrick Mahomes kid? Bring him to me.
Oh, my God.
Give me him.
If it is a blowout, I'm going to be so confused. It won't make any sense.
It will be.
On either side if it's a blowout.
It's got to be a blowout because there's been too many good games. It's 5 years of good Super Bowls in a row. It's got to be a blowout.
Well, you guys know.
They know already.
They already know. They're like, are you guys going to get to your advertisement or the movie?
The movie that I'm here for because, we know the results.
Speaking of football.
You know what? We're talking about football, and we got Sam on the sport now, which makes me really happy that the more I can't wait for us to have a kid.
That's what this pandemic has done to me.
You're into football now.
I was not into football at all before, a super contagious.
Yeah. Well, that's not. I will say this. Me taking you to the games piqued your interest, but you really peaked up this last season.
Yes, when you took me to the games and we were sitting close enough that I could zoom in on all the players' butts.
Yep.
Really piqued my interest. Got me.
And also, you guys, I will say this. Beyond the butts, I saw your interest peak when you saw Lamar Jackson live.
Yo.
That's when I saw you really get into the idea of like, oh, some people are like really exciting.
Lamar Jackson, also that game, he was playing the Rams.
And Jared Goff.
And Jared Goff, R.I.P. Jared.
Yep, R.I.P.
And
enjoy Detroit, bro.
Enjoy Detroit.
Fucking cold and a motherfucker.
He's playing them. It was like he wasn't even playing them. He beat them so hard. He's like, all right, we just scrimmaging now? I'm going to just do what I want.
Yeah, and I'm going to sit out the fourth quarter. And that was Monday Night Football.
He ran that field. And that's what's so cool about Lamar. He's a runner. He's like
can throw. He can do it all.
He's like notoriously fast.
Yeah, you could really. But
cool.
when you see it live, it's like, oh,
it's like, oh, I see what they're saying.
This dude can fly.
He can fly.
And you know what else? I will say this too, because I don't put him at the level of Lamar, but when we saw Baker Mayfield this year, he put on a show.
Baker
can play.
Baker can play.
Baker can play, bro. I've been against him for this whole career. When I saw him live that day, I said, "Oh, that white boy can throw."
We saw Baker. They tore up the Titans.
Tore him up,
and that's hard for us to say.
Yeah,
because we support the AP.
Because this ad that included Baker Mayfield and Progressive is really not about that. It's really about the greatest human being to walk the planet Earth.
Maybe.
And I'm not talking about Idris Elba. I'm talking about a very close second. Darren Bates. Darren Bates, everybody.
He's just like Idris.
He literally is just like Idris. He has a great British accent. He would be good in a show like The Office. Like if you put Darren in the Office,
he would kill in The Office.
I think Darren Bates would be a great cast for The Office. He's a great guy, great
He's
follow.
a good dude.
And all he wants you to do, Bean Mafia, especially all our new listeners, thank you, by the way. Welcome to the Bean Gang. We've seen our numbers grow. And again, every episode, I'm very appreciative. I'm very appreciative that you guys are telling your friends and you're pushing it. And you want people to enjoy a movie in a weird way. That's fucking awesome. But before you enjoy a movie in a weird way, go to Instagram, go to Twitter, go to Facebook, wherever you go to YouTube and follow Darren Bates. DarenBates, Darren Bates, hashtag his name handle at WestlandSon_56.
His picture is of his mother. So if you see a beautiful mother,
he's Westland's son.
That's him.
He's the son of Westland. All right, Darren Bates. Go show our boy some motherfucking love and tell him what, Sam.
Tell him the Bean sent you.
That's all he wants.
Give him
he's
a
literally
follow.
asking for one thing: a little follow button, a little message button. The Bean sent me.
Also,
that's it.
Check out his podcast, The Raw Room.
Yo, he just got a new studio and it looks amazing. I can't wait. Darren, you better fucking. I want to come do another episode, bro. I got the bootleg studios. You know what I mean? I want to see the real movie. I want to see
of a set
next Friday in theaters. All right. I don't want to watch the bootleg version anymore. Debates. Bring me on the set. I want a set episode.
A set episode.
Okay? But go listen to The Raw Room. Go subscribe. Literally pause this wherever you're listening and subscribe to The Raw Room. Raw Room, NFL podcast with NFL players, and it's fucking great.
Deric's on a bunch.
I've been on a bunch. A lot of legends have been on already. He's had legends on already. So, not including myself. So, go show our boy some love. Again, clocks. If you're hearing the clocks, we're in a clock house, baby.
Use the time when the clock rings to like reconnect with the sound of the bell. Like do some like inner meditation.
And you know how much time's passed.
That too.
Every time you hear it, it's been 15 minutes.
It's been 15. Yes, they go off every 15 minutes.
Oh, it's been 15 minutes. Oh, are those frogs? It's been 15 minutes. Is that a plethora of frogs and hummingbirds? Well, it's been 15 minutes. That's why. That's why I'm hearing that. Samantha Lee, enough football talk. What do you say, huh?
Are we going to do a football movie?
I mean, I should have. Looking back, I usually always the last couple years that this podcast has been running, I've always done a football episode for the Super Bowl. But we were in the process of moving, and I got mixed up with my days, so there is no football episode for the Super Bowl. But I'll tell you what, I'm gonna do a football episode for when we watch the Super Bowl. So when it comes out in the future, and we actually know the results of the Super Bowl, that'll be our football episode.
Oh, cool.
But this is y'all's Super Bowl. You enjoy it.
Yeah.
This is just a movie to us.
Also, maybe if it was a blowout, they want a break from the football.
Yeah, because then you're like, oh, that wasn't exciting. But if it was a great game, hey, you'll hear about it when we get to it. Give us like literally, what day is it? Thursday?
Today is Thursday.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 3 more days, and then we'll know.
Yes.
So you probably also, the next episode, also you won't know. It probably won't be till the episode after the next episode.
Yeah, it'll be like 2 weeks from now. We'll be like, hey, that Super Bowl was crazy.
Actually, probably not, because I have a special episode that is in store for you guys. So that actually might, you guys might not hear about the results for a really good mile. I just forgot that we have a special episode stored for you guys for episode 200. You holding your seats, Bean Mafia.
Hold your horses, buddies.
Because your boy did something special for you for the 200th. But so that might delay when you hear about the Super Bowl, but we'll get to it.
We'll get to we're not going to watch it. We're still trying to figure out how we're going to watch it.
Yeah, we don't even know. Are we going to go to Buffalo Wild Wings or are we going to watch it in some random person in Maine's house? Who knows?
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out when we get there. Literally, like I said, we have 3 days. Isn't that cool that they're in the future?
That is crazy.
I love that about this pod is that you guys are in the future. It's my favorite thing.
And we're in the past.
We're in the past, bro.
We got to get back to the future.
And that's what that movie should have been about instead of incest. Sam.
I forgot it was about incest.
It's a whole hour and a half about incest and time travel a little bit. It's a smidgen of time travel with a full scoop of incest.
Are you kidding? It's that's like 4 hours of incest and a little bit of time travel. It's 3 movies.
It's true. Sam?
Yes.
Samantha Lee. The reason for this podcast, for our new listeners who are like, why am I watching 2 people talk about a game they haven't even seen that I have? What is this podcast? So my friend told me to listen to this. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I came to see whatever this movie is that I like, and they're not even talking about it. It's been 20 minutes.
We're going to get there.
We're going to fucking get there. And now we're here. All right? So you sit back, and now you get to enjoy what you came for. Also, to me, it's weird if you're like, oh, I'm going to listen to the first 20 minutes, and oh, they didn't get to the movie. I don't like this. I'm not watching. Just fast forward.
Yeah.
If you fast forward and you go to the middle, you'd be like, oh wait, they do start talking about the movie at some point.
Yeah, we like to, meander in the beginning and like really unwind.
I like to unwind. I like to get there.
Yeah.
You want me to just insert it in you? You literally press play and the movie's being inserted? Or would you like a little foreplay?
Yeah.
Would you like a massage?
You gotta get warmed up first.
You want your neck kissed?
Ooh.
Right?
I like the massage.
I know you do. That's the only part you like.
That's
The
my
other
favorite
after
part.
that you cut off. Sam.
I cut off before the massage.
Yeah, you're out. Samantha, you haven't seen a lot of big movies.
Yes.
I don't know if this is one of them, but this is a movie you haven't seen. Can you tell me what you think happens in the movie I'm about to explain to you in full detail? Hold your horses, Bean Mafia. Sam, tell me what happens in Hollow Man. I actually forgot the title. Did you see that? Did you see me forget the title right there?
I saw that.
Because I was like, wait, is it The Hollow Man or Hollow Man? It's Hollow Man.
He's just hollow.
Hollow Man. What happens in Hollow Man?
I'm going to guess that this is a movie about the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Your brain is a mysterious wonder.
Well, because he's hollow. So
I got it.
I'm going to imagine that this is like sort of an origin story for like, how did he get to that area on the Yellow Brick Road where he's just,
A prequel.
Yeah, a prequel to
A
Tin
prequel.
Man. A prequel to the Tin Man. It's just like, a long like story. Kind of, did you ever see the origin story for Wolverine?
You know what's crazy? No. I've seen all the. I keep passing it on Disney Plus because I'm like, I've never seen this and I want to watch it, and I haven't watched it yet.
It's terrible, but I've seen it like 7 times because I loved it.
That's my girl.
It's a bad movie. I've been told.
Not like Logan.
No, it's not like Logan at all.
Because Logan was a film.
The Wolverine origin story is cool because if you like Marvel and you like Marvel superheroes, it was the first time they really started incorporating more of the X-Men that they didn't like really surround in the movies, in the original 3.
Yeah.
So it was the first time we saw people like Gambit. We saw Deadpool, but it wasn't really Deadpool. It was still Ryan Reynolds.
Wait a minute, my bad. I have seen that Wolverine. I'm thinking of the Wolverine where he's in Japan, and it's like literally called Origins of Wolverine.
I thought that was what this one's called. Well, he's in Japan?
Yeah, there's one where maybe that one's called The Wolverine, and this is Origins. There's 3 Wolverine movies.
So in this one, he like takes some kind of medicine and he like kind of half dies.
Yes.
And his wife thinks he's actually dead, but it just slows down his heart rate. Mm-hmm. And his wife's that like really hot lady, and she turns out being bad.
Bad, and then well, she's not bad, but she ends up having a power.
Yeah, she
ends up being a mutant.
She becomes a problem.
She becomes a problem, and then at the end, he makes a guy like walk to his death.
Yeah,
she's
something like that.
Walk till your feet bleed, and he starts walking.
Yeah,
and he fights Deadpool at the end, and then Deadpool's mouth's covered.
It's Ryan Reynolds.
It's Ryan Reynolds,
but it's not Deadpool. I mean, you know that Deadpool is all like
but
burnt up.
It's not the Deadpool that
it's not the Deadpool that we know from the new movies, and it's not true to the Deadpool in the comic books either.
They ruined it.
That's people were very upset.
Well, maybe because Deadpool's look at what they did with it when done right.
Well, that was the whole point. Ryan Reynolds made that all happen. Okay, so in my mind, Hollow Man is that movie, but with the Tin Man.
Okay, keep going.
And they introduce all these other characters from The Wizard of Oz that we kind of gloss over in the actual movie, but like give them more depth in this movie as well. Like maybe the Munchkins, or people that are like have little tidbits in The Wizard of Oz, but in the origins we give them like real depth.
I like this.
Yeah. And in the end, maybe what happens to the Tin Man is they end it kind of on like a cliffhanger where he like resolves whatever problem he had in his movie, but
he has no heart still.
He still has no heart, and he gets stuck alongside the Yellow Brick Road and gets all rusted up. And then
he's about to meet Dorothy. The movie ends like one of those kind of situations.
Yeah, something like that.
Like they end it like, oh, this is how how we know him.
Yes, exactly.
So I have a question. I know you like Wizard of Oz.
I do.
And you like The Wiz.
I do.
How would this movie, if it was what you just said, how would it have gotten by you for all these years? That you've never heard about this standalone Tin Man movie. How? That's my question about what you just said.
Well, I really have no clue what Hollow Man is about.
I know.
In fact,
I know that.
When you said it, I was like, I thought that was called Wicker Man. And then I thought about that some more. I was like, maybe that one's called Wicker Park. And that one had Josh Hartnett in it.
Oh, old Hartnett, huh?
And I didn't see that either, but I have no clue who's in Hollow Man. So I was like, I'm just going to create something.
Let me tell you something. A lot of people that you genuinely love are in it.
Oh, cool.
And I mean love. Cool. 3.
3? Is Julianne Moore in it?
3 actors.
You know how I feel about Julianne.
No, it's not Julianne Moore. But 3 actors, Sam, that you don't think about, but... Well, one who's currently in everything. But the other 2, one who's in something that we love, and then the other who's just a classic actor. He's just classic. He's just...
Okay.
If you say his name, it makes you smile.
You're like, oh, I like that guy.
Yep.
It's also, that's the key to being an actor. When people say your name, you be like, I like him.
I like him. All right, you ready?
Yes.
Don't look at the notes.
I'm not looking at the notes.
Credits roll. We see chemicals and all that kind of shit, like science stuff, turning into the credits, like kind of Breaking Bad style.
Ooh, okay.
Scary music playing. Mm-hmm. Hollow Man.
It's a scary movie.
We see a rat. All right, and he's dropped into something like a lab rat, and he's running through like a little obstacle thing.
Little maze.
Yeah, and then he gets to the end, and he's eating cheese, and then he gets picked up. It looks like by nothing, out of thin air, and then you see like something's crunching it, but you can't see what it is, and then it gets its head bitten off, and you see the blood on what looks like fangs.
Oh, so that whatever is eating him is invisible.
Yes. Okay. We see our lead, Kevin Bacon.
I love Kevin Bacon.
I told you. I said he's just classic. Did I describe him really well? Like he's just if he's in it, you're happy.
You're like Kevin.
Kevin. He's our lead in this.
Love Kevin Bacon. Okay.
All right. Well, you know what? I'm actually curious because I never looked at what year this movie came out. This came out in 2000.
That's peak Kevin Bacon time.
Also pre 9/11. That's how I base movies.
That's true.
So we see our boy, and he is not dancing.
No.
He's doing science stuff on a computer, and he's pissed.
That's not like Kevin at all.
I'd rather see him
Doing
dance.
science?
He's doing science. He's still beautiful, though.
Of course.
And he's doing science, and every time he does something on his, like, a computer from the 2000 era, it, like, comes up, like, unstable. It just says unstable, unstable, and he's
it's
like,
got that, like, black screen with the green text.
all that shit, right?
What was that about?
And he's putting in coding. So he looks out a window, and he sees a beautiful woman across the way, and she's undressing. And right when her...
Is he in his house?
He's in his house. Like, he's looking out his blinds, and across is, like, another blinds. And her tits come out, and right then she closes her blinds.
Oh, yeah. She remembered her blinds.
Right? So he's about to walk away, and then he looks up, and on the top of his, like he painted on top of his roof, so when he looks up, it's like, keep working.
Okay.
Like, like you look up, and it's like, go back to work.
Yeah.
And he thinks, and then he stops, and he starts thinking. And then he goes back to work, and he puts in another code, and it says stable in, like, green letters.
Ooh.
So that means good, like go.
Bueno.
Yeah. And then he goes, I am a goddamn genius. Okay? He calls our other lead. It's 4 a.m, and he calls our other lead in this. You might recognize her from a little film called Karate Kid. A little show called The Boys.
What? No.
She's our other lead. Allie.
The Allie?
You know what her real name is?
Her real name, don't tell me. I've looked it up like 100 times.
I know. I had to look it up too. I was like, oh, that's her real name.
I can't think of it now.
When I say it, you'll be like, of course it is. Elizabeth.
Elizabeth Shue.
Yep.
I knew it.
So she is our lead in this. Okay? Our other lead.
Okay. I wasn't expecting her.
When she came up, I was like, this woman's in everything.
She works. She's in the last 2 Back to the Futures.
I know.
She replaced the girl from the first movie.
And she's in this.
And she's in this.
So he tells her, he's like, yo, I cracked the code. And she's like, oh my God, he cracked it. He cracked it. And she's so excited. Mm-hmm. And he tells her, like, we're going to win the Nobel Prize for this. Come down to the lab right now. I'll see you in a few. She's like, all right, see you there. She hangs up. She wakes up her boyfriend.
Okay, so she's not with Kevin.
Who's the third lead in this.
Oh, wow.
Who I said there's one guy who's literally the star of that. He's hot right now.
Oh, okay.
He's younger in this.
Okay.
A Mr. Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin.
Thanos himself.
It's weird to say he's younger in this because it's like, yeah, he's the star of everything now because of the whole Thanos.
But he's been a star stuff since the Goonies.
He's been working forever.
He was one of the leads in the Goonies.
Yeah, he's like one of those OG kind of like
child actors.
Just I'm always working. And you know why you don't think of him being a star until now is because he's more of a character actor.
Because he can act.
Yeah, he can really do the job.
He can really. I mean, and I know it's green screen. I know he's a big purple guy, but I thought Thanos is one of the best characters I've seen in a while.
For
with
sure.
Depth, with a great, like, I know he's the bad guy, but I see his side. Mm-hmm. All of it.
He's probably one of the best villains of all time.
Oh, for sure. Got to put him up there with Joker, Voldemort, Hitler, Martin Luther King, depending on how you look at him.
Villains.
You know? So apparently, our boy Brolin is also a scientist.
Whoa.
So he has to go down to the lab too. But they have not told Sebastian. That's our lead. Kevin Bacon is Sebastian. Sebastian Kane. They have not told him that they're dating.
Oh, it's a secret.
Okay. Josh Brolin's name is Matt, and our Elizabeth's name is Linda. Okay. So we see Sebastian. He's on his way to work now. He's rocking music. He's riding in a super nice Porsche. He rolls through tight security, what looks like an abandoned warehouse. Mm-hmm. And then he goes in the abandoned warehouse, and all the security is like super nice to him. And then he goes down he puts in a super like secure code, and then like a big secret door opens up, and a secret elevator opens up, and then he has to put in another access code, and he like heads down like a million floors. So it's like a private government thing, clearly.
Okay. Or is it not government?
So it's government.
Okay.
So
sometimes they're owned by like people like
rich people who are just evil.
Yeah, like what's his face who put the car in the sky?
Elon Musk.
Yeah, he's not a government person.
He might as well be.
I mean, just because he owns a lot of stuff doesn't.
No, but I mean, I bet he's like when he does stuff. I bet like whenever he does stuff, he has to run it through the government.
I think that's why. Well, like one of the things about him is most of the stuff he does is self-funded. Yeah. So maybe he has to legally, but the government isn't. It's not like a government-funded.
No, but I'm sure he lobbies to get his way.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
15 minutes.
15 minutes.
So our boy Kevin heads down, and there are monkeys everywhere, and they have thermal cameras for the invisible monkey that we saw earlier.
Ooh.
Right? Her name's Isabella. It's a huge gorilla that they made invisible. And they're trying to, you see Josh Brolin trying to give her a shot and calm her down, and he puts on these thermal goggles, so now you can see thermally, you can see the gorilla. Yeah. Right? He's like, calm down, Isabella, calm down. He goes in the cage, and he's like, I'm not going to hurt you. She calms down a little bit. He tries to give her a shot. You see, like, him with his hand, you see his hand go, like that.
Yeah.
Like the gorilla grabbing it, and then you see the gorilla run out the cage.
Oh, no.
So now he's running after Isabella, and he runs into Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon's like, let me guess, Isabella? And he's like, God damn it. So they go grab tranquilizer guns.
Okay.
And they're like, $10 whoever shoots it first. You see Josh Brolin try to shoot, and he misses, and Kevin Bacon hits it.
Nice.
All right.
Kevin.
And then they go, man, she's clearly been invisible too long. It's affecting her brain and like her anger.
Really?
Okay. And so he hits it, and then, Sebastian's like, you owe me $10. And then Josh Brolin's like, why don't you put it on my tab? And then he goes, someday I'm going to make you pay up for all that. And they both smile. All right. So another doctor with short hair comes in. You'd recognize this actress. She's been in a lot of stuff. And she's super pissed because she's in charge of the animals. So she doesn't like that, that you shot him with a tranquil, and that, that she's been acting out and you guys don't care and all this stuff, and you're just running tests on it, and you're not like giving her room to run.
She's like the animal rights person.
She's the animal rights person.
Okay.
Because, it's a gorilla. It isn't like some rat.
Yeah.
And he goes off, right, about that. She's like, it's not right, and he doesn't care at all because he's a scientist. Mm-hmm. He's like, he doesn't care. He's just trying to get experiments done. Linda comes in the room and says, hey, we're ready for Isabella. Let's do this. Right? And then our boy Sebastian goes, hey, who are you dating, by the way? As they're reeling the gorilla in. And then he's like, tell me what he's like. And she's like, he's everything you're not, and smiles. And then he brushes it off.
Oh, he's trying to hit it.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. That's going to be some drama.
So the other doctors, I knew you were going to love this movie. How much are you already like?
I'm already into it.
I was like, yo, because I forgot who the lead was. I mean, I remember Kevin Bacon, but I forgot Josh Brolin and the girl.
You had me at Kevin Bacon.
And then I was like, she's going to be like, yo, what is going on? What did you decide to do this time, Kevin? So the other doctors, they're in the science room. And you see one of the other doctors is like in the God room, and like in the God mic, like you can oversee. And he like does a joke over the mic about how he's God. And our boy Sebastian looks up and he goes, no, you're not. I'm God. Ooh. And they all kind of smile and laugh, but uncomfortably.
Because he really is.
He thinks that about himself.
Well, not even that. He must be like the big cheese.
He's the cheese. Yeah, he's heading this, and he's the smartest one.
Yeah,
everybody
so
knows
that's the point.
Yeah,
it's I'm God, and they're all like,
also,
ha ha ha. But yeah,
he found the thing to turn someone invisible and back.
Impressive.
I do get how you'd feel a little godlike.
It's pretty crazy to be able to turn someone invisible.
And back?
And back, and not with like a cloak or, some kind of...
Cool cloaking or mirror. So they strap the invisible gorilla down, they get its veins prepped, and they inject him with like some orange shit. Mm-hmm. And you see the orange, because you just see the goo going through all the veins, right? And then it gets into the bloodstream, and the gorilla starts to come back. You see like the muscle, like tendons and muscles start coming back, and everything's going good. And then you see it's like brain and its bones, and then the gorilla starts yelling. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, no, the blood pressure is crashing. It's roaring. Its heart's going crazy. Oh, it's going into cardiac arrest. And you see like its heart going into cardiac arrest. And they're like, we're losing her. And he's like, no, hit her. Clear. And they do that like a bunch of times. Uh-huh. And then finally she stabilizes.
Isabella.
And all the doctors smile. And then you see the gorilla fill back in and become a gorilla.
Okay.
All right. And they can't believe it. And they're all just staring, looking at each other like we did it. And then everyone starts celebrating. And Sebastian just smiles. Right. And then he looks at her and then he says, all right, like, I can't believe we did it, guy. Congratulations. We'll give Isabella a few weeks and then we'll slice her up and study your brain. Because they have to. I mean.
Oh, then why does this woman care if they're taking care of the gorilla or not?
The woman goes off.
Yeah.
Because she's like, that wasn't a part of the plan. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I know it wasn't, but we have to, like, we made it work. So now we have to study on this gorilla. And then she goes off more and he's like, this isn't a fucking zoo. Like, get out of my face. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
He is right. It's like, hey, we bought the gorilla. You're here just because we probably had to get you.
Yeah, it's probably like, you know how my sister's husband, he goes to job sites and makes sure that
there's always a person who has to make sure you're not like raping the animals or whatever the fuck.
It's almost like a health inspector.
Pretty much.
For a restaurant type thing.
Yeah.
But for animals.
So I do get Kevin Bacon of like, hey, bitch.
I get that, but at the same time, it's like, this is the law. Like, we do have laws for how we treat animals.
Hey, if this gorilla didn't want its brain studied, it shouldn't have turned invisible and back. Also, and he knows this too, because just on some real shit. If you tell the government that you did that, they're not going to be like, oh, they're going to be like, oh, cut it up. And let's see what's going on.
Oh, yeah, of course. But there's too many people. Like, this woman being involved, it's her job to report stuff like that. So they have to kill her. The government.
No, they would. I mean, I think they could paperwork their way around that.
Pay her?
Yeah, and paperwork their way around it.
Yeah.
It's the government. They can't paperwork their way around everything.
I don't know. We're finding out about all these aliens now.
We haven't. I hate when people say that. We haven't found out about any aliens. Just because Rogan says something on a podcast about a blurry picture and he talks to some other person who has a blurry picture doesn't mean shit.
They're not blurry pictures.
They're blurry pictures, bro.
Okay.
It has not been one picture of some Men in Black shit of like an alien like next to next to Q-tip.
Pictures like that. I've seen those pictures.
I want to see an alien and Rick Ross at a Wingstop, and then I'm like, okay. Until then, get your blurry photo of a ship that also looks like a spoon.
A Tic Tac.
Yeah, it could be a spoon, a Tic Tac, or an alien craft. I don't know. Get out of here. So they all go to celebrate. They go to a fancy dinner. Mm-hmm. All right, and Sebastian and Linda separate from the party, and as they start talking, you find out they clearly used to date.
Oh, they have a history.
They have history. And he goes, "You ever want to go back and try it all again?" And then she goes. She's like being nice and kind of flirty. She's like, I don't think time travel exists yet. And then he is like, well, maybe we should invent it. And he grabs her neck and he tries to kiss her.
Whoa, he grabs her neck?
I'm like, pull her in.
Okay.
Like, so, maybe we should invent it.
He caresses her.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. And then she pulls back and she goes, or not. And she walks off. And he's kind of pissed. So Sebastian, he goes back to the science lab after they all get done celebrating, and they turn into a dog invisible as well, and he's petting the invisible dog, and he just keeps asking it, what's it like to be invisible, as he's petting it. Okay. So the next day he shows up to Congress and like all the military. It's like a huge meeting, right, to disclose what he did, but he lies. And he says he almost got the gorilla back, but he couldn't fully turn it. They're really close. He just needs more time. And the head guy, who's like this head doctor and like the military, like I guess like the doctor of the military, like, you know what I mean? Like one of the head people or whatever.
Yeah, the medical
for research.
general.
Yeah, for research or whatever. He like goes off on how they gave him all this time and they gave him all this leeway and their patience is running out. And if he doesn't get results soon, they'll if you can't make it work, we'll find another Sebastian who can. Like, we'll fire you.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know? Sebastian's like, fine. He leaves. Linda and Josh Brolin are looking at each other like, why the fuck did he do that? So they run outside and they're like, yo, why would you do that? Why did you lie? It's ready. You know it's ready. We just brought Isabella back, you know? And he goes, it's my dream. It's my vision. No one's taking it away from me. Like, if I'd have told them that it was done, they'd have just took it and ran off and it'd have been some militarized thing.
Yeah.
I don't want that. He's like, I needed their funding and I needed all the facilities, but it's my baby. You know, like kind of like that artist style. Like, this is my baby.
Yeah.
I'm not letting this go.
But what is his intention? At some point, they're going to come and just grab his paperwork.
He wants to be the person who cracks it.
But
So-
if they've already cracked it.
No, like on humans.
Oh.
Because nobody's going to remember the first person who did the gorilla. They think the person that'll be remembered
Yes.
will be the first human.
Yeah, so he's going to do it on himself. He's going to do like some Doc Ock type crazy.
It's my baby. We go to phase 3 ourselves. Human testing. Linda goes, no, this is about you. You just want to be the first. That's all this is about. You just have to be the first. He goes, no, it's about us. We can change the world. We'll get the Nobel Peace Prize. It'll be about us. And then they all kind of look at each other because that turns Josh Brolin and Linda to be like, ooh, that does sound nice.
I don't want
Like
to be a part
being
of
remembered in forever in history. Mm-hmm. It is what we all kind of want,
Yeah.
you know? So Brolin's like, well, if they find out that we did this, well, none of us will ever work again. And Sebastian's like, yeah, but if it works, no one will ever care. Which is true.
That's true.
If we successfully turn a human invisible and not invisible, no one's going to care how we did it,
Yeah.
you know? So Sebastian tells his team, they go back to the lab and they tell the team that he volunteered and he told all the generals and he told everybody and they all approved it because he's going to do it on himself. Okay? The short hair girl is like, this is a bad idea. I do not think we should do this. And all the others are like, I think this is a bad idea. And he tells them, I know you guys think it's a bad idea, but I pay you because you're the best and I trust you to do the best work and make it happen. You know? And they're all like, okay. Cut to, we see Linda and Josh Brolin at home and they are smashing. I mean, they fucking.
Can I ask a quick question about Josh? Is he seem younger than them? Because in my mind, he's younger than Kevin and...
No, they all look in their 30s. Everybody's in
Really?
their 30s in this, if not 40s.
Okay.
So they're all bare minimum 30s, maximum 40s.
Okay.
So they're all in that range. They all look
wonder
that
how
age.
old he actually was.
Probably 52. They all look great.
Josh?
Yeah, he
feel
takes. I mean, in this scene right
he's
here
a little
where he's having
younger
sex,
than they are.
he has shirts off, and I mean, he looks incredible.
He's got to
Shredded.
be like 10 years younger than them. Because you think she and Kevin would have been
In their
like
20s.
in their 20s
In the
and
80s.
the 80s, and he would have been like 10, 15 in the 80s.
Yeah, so that's what I think. I think they're in their 40s, and then Brolin's in his 30s.
Okay.
So we see them smashing, and she's trying to like smash. Like she's like, oh, and I'm trying to get something. He keeps talking business, and she gets pissed, and she's like, do you see what I'm trying to do? And he's like, oh, just, I don't know if we should have agreed to this. And then she's like, trust me, if anybody can pull this off, Sebastian can pull this off. And he looks at her and he goes, you ever miss being with him?
Oof.
And she's like, what? Also, that is some weak stuff to ask in the middle of
Yeah, in the middle of
Kalingas.
Kalingas?
And she's like, why would you ask that? And he goes, I don't know. Sebastian just sets the bar pretty high.
Yeah, I get also you will have to work with him. You see him every day. You know
He's
that
a
he
genius.
used to be with your girl.
And he's like one of the smartest men alive.
And also, how you know that the reason you guys can't have your relationship out there is him. It's
And
not
how
like
he is.
because other people would.
And he's your boss. And it's like so
Yep.
many things.
Yeah, that would get in your head.
So, and then she goes, let me tell you something. The concept of Sebastian is much more appealing than actual Sebastian. Which I do get because he's everything like, oh, he's a genius, he's rich, he's this famous scientist, but then he's like, oh, he's also a jerk.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of a jerk. You see it when he carries himself and the way he talks to people. He's a little bit of a jerk. So she goes, whereas you're precise. And then she's on top of him, she grabs something. It's very graphic. She goes,
Wow.
you're very thorough. And then she goes, and you fit better. And then
Oh.
they start, yeah, and it's like Elizabeth.
Whoa.
Cut to, we see Sebastian. He's in the lab.
Also, you fit better. Is that a compliment? Maybe
I don't know if
does that
that's
mean
compliment
you're
or
small?
this. I have no idea what that meant. It's like that's on Josh Brolin to be like, yo, you know what? At this point, just shut up. Shut up and get some.
Okay.
So we see Sebastian. He's back at the lab. It's the big day. He's looking at himself in the mirror and he's like, see you later. He heads in. He gets butt naked in the lab. They strap him in and they're like, we're all ready. Like, ready? They're like, yeah. They all grab the serum and Sebastian's like, wait, I'll do it. That way, if anything goes wrong, I get blood. Which is why he's like, if anything goes wrong and I die,
It's my fault.
it's suicide. It's not a murder. And she's
Nice.
like, and then Josh Brolin like looks at her like, that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So he takes it, he injects himself, they strap him back in. They all looking at him, they're all nervous, nothing happens. They all check his vitals, everything, nothing's happened. They're like, damn. Sebastian gets pissed. He's like, God damn it. And they're like, all right, call it. Like, let's try it. Maybe it's not ready for humans yet. Yeah. And Sebastian goes, wait. I feel something. He looks at his arm. He's like, my arm's tingling. He's like, I feel it in my shoulder. It's in my back. Ah, shit. And he starts screaming like the gorilla, like convulsing.
Oh, now he's realizing what he put the gorilla through.
Yep. And you see his skin disappearing, like starting from his chest. Like you see it, and you see the tendons, and then you see the tendons turning into bones. And he's just screaming like, fuck, this hurts. He's screaming, this hurts.
Yeah.
Also, I think that's when you know something really hurts, bro. When you're screaming about how much it hurts.
Yes.
Like, oh, that
definitely hurts.
So you see all his muscle tendons. You see his pulse. They're saying his pulse holds stable, but he's still screaming. And they even show his penis disappearing, which I thought was really funny. It's like they didn't have to show that, but they show it.
Do you think it's actually Kevin Bacon? No.
It's a CGI for sure. Because they show it disappearing.
Oh, okay.
Like they don't show like the penis.
They modeled the CGI.
I would hope, and I'd hope they pay him more for it.
They probably didn't.
They probably did.
Probably used some like no name.
Yeah. So finally, you see all his bones, and then he stops yelling, and he passes out, and then he disappears. All right. The team all looks at each other. They smile. Linda leans in his ear, and she's like, "You did it. You're the first, Sebastian." All right. So they fall asleep. Linda falls asleep. She's like, falls asleep by the bed waiting on her. Josh Brolin comes up and he wakes her. And he goes, well, we have enough data for a lifetime of research now. Just off what we got him just being passed out. Mm-hmm. And then Sebastian right then wakes up yelling. And he's like, cut the lights off. Cut the lights off. And they're like, what? And they all cut the lights off. And he's like, I can't close my eyes. And they're like, it's because your eyelids are also transparent. Oh. I didn't notice that the first time I watched it. But that to me is the most horrifying thing of the whole movie.
That is horrifying.
He can't close his eyes.
Everything's sight all the time. Weird.
Right?
I never thought about that.
So he gets up and he takes all his wires off and he goes to the mirror and he's looking. They're like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm looking at myself, or rather not, I guess, because it's just an invisible thing. Yeah. You don't see anything. So the team, they walk in and they can't see him. And he starts like changing the lights in the room. And they're like, how's it being a ghost, Sebastian? They can't see him. He's like, oh, I'm very much alive. And you hear he's like bouncing around, messing with everybody, like playing with people's hair and like, you know what I mean? And they all laugh, and then they all put on the thermal glasses, and you can see his thermal penis, which I also think is funny.
What? They just wanted to show off.
They keep showing it. I don't know what's going on.
What did you say? This is 2000?
2000.
That was height like of nudity in movies.
Yeah, rated R. Like we gotta show it.
They stopped doing that after a while.
Yeah, they were like, oh, I guess people don't need the nudity. It's like, yeah, we do. Did they not learn anything from Game of Thrones?
There was a lot of nudity. Yeah, I can feel like after Game of Thrones, they were like, I think we've had enough nudity.
Well, Game of Thrones covered it.
Yeah.
We saw everyone naked. We covered all of it. So they tell him that, hey, so Sebastian, you're going to remain here for a couple days. The team will all be on call. So if you need anybody, just call us. Also, we'll set up a thermal camera for your observation. Like, so you see all the cameras and they have them set on thermal so they can see them. Mm-hmm. And they say, and we'll all take a shift being here with you in case something goes wrong. Mm-hmm. And we need someone here to if you have a heart attack or, they don't notice anything, right? And so the short hair girl takes the first shift of watching him. We see her watching the thermal camera, like in like the pretty much like the God room, like with all the cameras, right? And you see her kind of drift off. Ooh. Then down the hall, we see, you don't see anything, but you see like a perspective. And we see a door open up and we see someone walking up on her sleeping. And then you hear a whisper, are you awake? She's still asleep. Are you awake? Then we see her hair get brushed. Like you just see this.
Do you see the hand or is it?
No, you just see the hair.
You just see the hair.
So you know what I'm saying? Like he's invisible. So you just see a hair getting brushed. Then you see someone unbuttoning her shirt super slow.
Oh my gosh, what is this movie? Also, I need to tell you that because you've not told me who this actress is with the short hair, every time you say the short hair girl, I imagine her as Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
It could be her. You see her unbutton all the way. He literally pulls her breast out. You see it.
She's just still asleep the whole
Knocked
time.
Out.
That would wake me up.
I think the brushing of the hair would wake you up.
Yeah, I think touching me in general.
The shirt would because this is unbuttoning is a lot.
Also, how is she sleeping? Is she leaning back in her?
She's in a chair. Also, she's sleeping in. She's not laying down. She's in a chair.
Yeah.
So you're not even fully in REM.
No, yeah, you definitely would wake up. Or you'd have like one of those experiences where you know you're asleep and you're trying to wake up.
Yeah, or you're like, is someone touching me? Mm-hmm. So he gets her full breast out and he starts sucking on her nipple.
And she doesn't
so
wake up.
So you see like, you don't see that, but you just see the breast like getting pulled and like the nipple getting like that.
Weird.
Crazy, right?
Why would they do that in this movie?
She doesn't wake up. And then finally she wakes up and she's like, and her shirt's just undone. And she's like, Sebastian? Sebastian. And she looks at the camera and he's not in his bed. And she's like, are you in here, Sebastian? And she turns around and she looks back at the camera and he's laying in the bed.
Huh.
So she calls Josh Brolin and Linda, and he tells them what like happened, right? And they both come by. And she's like, I don't know if it was real or not. I feel so stupid. And Josh is like, oh, we'll figure it out. So Josh goes in to run tests on him, and he kind of questions him while he's running tests. He's like, what'd you do last night? He's like, oh, nothing. He's like, oh, you didn't get up from the bed at all? He's like, oh, I got up to get some coffee. That's it? And he's like, yeah, that's it. And then you see the girl whose breast he sucked. She's standing there. She's all nervous. And he looks at her. He goes, you okay? You seem nervous. And she's like, no, I'm fine. And she walks off. And he just kind of laughs, like evilly.
Yo. Also, did they not have cameras in the room that she was in?
You would think.
You think they'd have thermal cameras?
No,
well, I guess they're not.
They only have thermal cameras in the one room that he's supposed to be in. And the rest are just cameras.
Oh, and he knows that because he works
But even
there.
still, if you watch the cameras, a boob just doesn't pop out and suck itself.
No. Oh, my gosh. Okay.
So we see, one of the doctors.
We need an HR person for this place.
One of the doctors is a black girl.
Okay.
One of the in the group. All right. And then she's like, all right. So she's like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. And then she goes to the bathroom and then she hears something right when she's about to pee. And she puts on her thermal glasses and she doesn't see anything. And she's just freaked out. Right.
Okay.
So while the team eats lunch, they all start talking about how nervous this is making them. Right. And like what they would do if they had that kind of power and how crazy Sebastian is already. And is this too much? And is this going to go to his head? And whoop-de-whoop. Right. And they all eat lunch and they all talk about this in like a bad way about Sebastian. Yeah. And then they all walk out the room. And then when they all walk out, you see one of the chairs just turn.
So he was there the whole time.
He was there the whole time.
So they gotta just lock him in the room.
Also, I'm thinking about this right now. I don't know. It just hit me. This must have been the easiest money for Kevin Bacon ever.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, wait a minute. So I'm just in the first half of the movie.
And then you're just making up CGIs of my penis the rest of the movie?
CGIs of my penis and I just voice over and I'm still getting paid as the lead?
Cool.
Love this movie. So we see our boy Sebastian. He's messing with Linda. Mm-hmm. Right? And she's like, Sebastian, stop. She's all giggling. And then he goes, you have no idea how much fun this is, Linda.
Ugh.
You ought to try it. And then he rubs her hair and her head. Right? And then she's like, Sebastian, stop. He's like, let's try one more experiment. Come on, it's my last night. We have to try that last experiment. You know the thing we always talked about if we figured this out? And then you feel something rub across her you see something rub across her face. Uh-huh. It's his penis.
Ew.
Because he says, you feel that? Can you guess what that is? And then she goes, it feels all too familiar, and like knocks it away.
Ugh.
That's a lot, dog. I was like, yo, I can't believe I didn't notice this the first time I saw this.
Wait, you didn't notice any of this the first time?
I mean, I've seen it a bunch, but I never really paid attention to what he was really doing.
That would stick out to me as like the main part of this movie. I don't know what else could happen in this movie.
Oh, that is
would make you forget that.
His invisible penis is going crazy. So he goes, you want to make love to an invisible man? And then she goes, what? Like how I used to? And he goes, what do you mean? She goes, you were never there. And then he lifts her skirt. Right? So you see like her panties and he's like, come on, we talked about this. And she goes, it's not about that anymore, Sebastian. And he's like, oh, you don't want to feel it? And she's like, it's not what I don't feel. You know, he's like, come on, you won't even have to see me. And she's like, it's not what I don't see. It's what I never felt when I was with you.
Ooh.
And then she kind of slaps him away and she goes, get some rest. You have a big day tomorrow. She leaves. Okay? So the next day comes, they bring him back in, and they lay him down, and they inject him with the orange shit to bring him back.
Yeah.
They're all like, see you in a minute, friend. He's like, all right, see you guys in a minute. This was fun. He's like, I wish I could stay, right? And they all laugh. We see it go through his veins, and then he goes, I can't breathe. He starts choking on it. Uh-huh. The orange, and he starts cardiacking. They have to do the CPR, like, thing on him, clear, and all that. And they do it a bunch, and he dies, and they have to bring him back.
Oh, wow.
All right? Like, don't die on me, Sebastian. And he comes back, and when he finally comes back, he passes out, and he goes back invisible. Weird. So it looks like he comes all the way back, and then he goes back invisible. Like, it doesn't work on humans.
Huh.
the whatever the bring back thing was.
It only works on the
animals so
chimpanzee.
far. It hasn't worked on humans yet. So they got to alter some shit. So he wakes and they tell him, Sebastian, you almost died. What do we tell the head doctor, the head general guy, Kramer? And he goes, we're not going to tell him anything. He said, I'll just be stuck like this for a while. We'll make a few adjustments. It'll be fine. So they lay him down. They pour a gel on his face. And then like it molds to his face. And then they let it cool and it turns into like skin. And they cut out eye holes for him and like a mouth. So it looks like he has a face now.
But you just see the face.
You just see this like gel. Like,
is he putting clothes on or something?
And he's bald headed too, like this. So he's just literally a gel.
Of Kevin Bacon.
A gel of Kevin Bacon.
Did they like put some clothes on him so they could see where he was, or they let him stay naked? That's the other thing that blows my mind. It's like, aren't you cold in this laboratory? Put a robe on.
Yeah, they clothe him up now.
Okay.
So now he looks like a person, like with the skin and hands.
Yeah.
And clothes.
And gel face.
But like, if he opens his mouth or takes his shades off,
it's empty.
So at home, we see Linda and Josh Brolin working on it, and they still can't find a way to turn him back. All right. Cut back to now. Days have passed. Sebastian is throwing up clear stuff in the toilet. You can't see what he's throwing up, but he's throwing up. And he says, I can't take this anymore. I can't take this testing. It's too much, And they're like, oh. And then Josh Brolin goes, come on, man. None of us want to do this to you. This isn't easy on any of us. And he's like, fuck you. Fuck you. It's been 10 days. Radiation tests, needles. Fuck you. I can't believe I'm spending another night here. I can't do this. Like he's going crazy.
Yeah, but you were the one who wanted to do this in the first place.
And Josh Brolin says that, like, hey, man, you agreed to this.
Yeah.
Like, you knew what came with it.
Uh-huh.
So we see him in his lab, and he's freaking out. Like, he's in the room, the thermal room they got, and he's freaking out. He looks up, and at the guy who's watching him, which is one of the other doctors, and he's like, I'm going out. And you see him leave. And the guy's like, what? And he runs, and he's like, Sebastian. He stops him. He's like, hey, you can't leave. Like, it's the rule. And he's like, yeah, well, it's my rule. I made the rule, so I'm changing it. I'm going out. And they're like, where are you going? He's like, I'll be back in a couple hours. And he leaves.
He took off all his clothes so he can just be invisible?
No, he's in his clothes and all that stuff still.
Okay.
So the doctor, the other dude, he calls Linda and Josh Brolin. And he's like, yo, we got a big problem. We see our boy get in his Porsche and peel off before security notices him.
Okay.
All right. And he hits a stop sign. He's rocking out the music and he's all excited. And some kids are looking at him because he's got a weird looking.
Yeah.
He just looks crazy. And they're like, whoa, mister, you look weird. Look at that guy. And then he takes his shades off and opens his mouth like, and the kids are like, ah! Could you imagine seeing that?
No. And how did they film it? Is it kind of like campy for that shot, or is it like really visual?
I mean, no, it's like clearly what they did was they just put Kevin Bacon in a green
suit.
A green full suit. So they just CGI'd him.
I get that, but is for the shot, for that scene of the kids freaking out, is it sort of like tongue in cheek, like, oh, this is funny that this would happen?
Yes.
Or is it very serious?
Tongue in cheek funny.
Okay.
Very 2000.
Okay. I'm just trying to get a gauge of the tone of the movie.
Oh, very Freddy versus Jason.
Okay. Thank you. I needed that.
So, you see Linda, Josh Brolin, they head downstairs to their apartment. And they're like, we got to go look for him. And then he's like, I'll go back to the lab. And she's like, I'll go to his place. And then they're about to kiss. And then she stops him. And she's like, he could be here. Let's find him first. And he's like, you're right. So we see Sebastian.
If he was there and then you go to kiss and then you're like, he could be there, don't you think he'll put two and two together?
You would think. So Sebastian goes to his place. He looks out his window. And what does he see, Sam?
The naked woman.
The naked woman. She's undressing again. And just like last time, right when her boobies come out, she flips her shades. And he's like,
Who is this woman that always remembers to put down her shades when she's undressed, but never before she gets undressed?
Never that. She gives you the tease first.
That's on purpose. There's
She's
no way.
Gorgeous too. This woman looks like a perfect runway model. So he goes, shit. And then he thinks to himself and he goes, no, don't do it. That's crazy. And then he takes off his glove hand and it's just an invisible hand. And he's like, but who's going to know? So we see the woman showering. Are you ready for this?
Is this just a movie about sexual assault? Like, is that?
Well, is it if he's invisible? Is it sexual assault?
Yes, it's still sexual assault.
I'm just asking. I'm a question asker. So we see the woman showering. Someone rings her doorbell. She puts on a robe. She goes to the door, like looks out the peephole. No one's there. She's like, huh. She goes back, heads toward the shower. More rings. This time she goes back. She opens the door. And she's like, what the fuck? She looks around and she kind of steps out in the hallway a little bit.
And that's when he goes in.
And then you see a perspective of someone like coming in and now looking at her.
Yeah.
And she's like, kind of looks around her room. She closes the door. We see her sit down. She takes off her robe. And tits, you see everything. Tits, vagina. And she starts lotioning up. Exactly but I will say this. It is like how women lotion up. Like
not
right
in a
front of the
sexy
mirror.
way. But
not a
just
sexy,
like,
just in the front of the mirror.
Just start with your legs?
You start with your legs, leg up on the sink. So you see everything.
Yeah.
And she's lotioning up, and then she starts lotioning up her chest, like, rubbing lotion. And our boy's watching. Okay? And then he messes with the mirror and tilts it down. She tilts it back up. She lotions back up again. And then he messes with the mirror, he tilts it up. And she's like, what in the fuck? And she tilts it. And then she turns around and hear she feels something. And she screams, and he grabs her. He throws her on the bed.
What?
As she fights and she screams. Her boobies are still out. And he rapes the shit out of this woman.
This is not a movie. This is not real.
They show it, Sam.
Kevin Bacon signed off on this.
Kevin Bacon signed off, I will rape a woman.
He saw this script and he's like, this is the movie
that I need to do.
Yo, Kevin. Well, what?
And I mean, Sam, it's visceral. Like, she is screaming, no, stop.
Wow.
And you see him like pumping.
He said, how would anyone know? He said, how would anyone know?
She knows.
She knows. She'll know.
She won't know who, but she'll know.
Also, this is the other thing. How would anyone know? You're like, yeah, I'm invisible. But if she went to get like a rape kit, there would be all the evidence of rape. Like there would be the tearing, there would be the semen.
Yeah, but it'd be invisible. They wouldn't be able to get any trace on any of it.
It's semen. It's testable.
There is no semen. It's invisible. It's all invisible, Sam.
Yeah, but she would have the markings of rape, like because you could have the tearing because you didn't want it. So there's like a, Yeah,
but how they still would never know who did it.
They wouldn't know who did it, but they would know that some invisible person is raping people.
And how do you defend that?
Well, you'd have to go. I'm sure the military would be like, "Huh, I wonder who that could possibly be."
True. So we see Linda go to Sebastian's place, and she opens his door, and she sees his skin and clothes on the ground, and she's like, "Oh shit." Cut back to, this was more visceral than the rape scene, because it was like, yo, who told this woman to do this? The woman is on the bed crying, like covering up herself, crying, curled up on the corner of the bed, bruises all over her body.
Oh my gosh, this is so graphic.
Yo. And then we see our boy stand up, and he looks out his window, and he sees Linda at his place.
Yep, of course.
So he goes back to his place, and he watches Linda leave his place. All right? Back at the lab, God, I don't know why. It's so visceral, bro. When you see the bruises on this beautiful woman's legs and body, and you're like, and you see him get up from the bed all casually, and she's just like not. Also, you see her like she's just literally covered because I can't imagine what she's thinking. She's like, I don't even know what just happened.
I don't even know what happened, but I felt that.
Yeah, it hurt. I screamed.
I have bruises. I have all the markings to prove
like,
that.
Also, I couldn't get up. Like a grown figure held me down.
Oh yeah, if she walked into a hospital and they did a rape, they wouldn't even have to do a rape kit on her to know that she'd been raped. It's just physically, if you see all those bruises, you'd be like, oh, this person was assaulted. And then you do any further research, you're like, oh, it looks like she was raped.
And then, but this would be the problem is they go, ma'am, could you see what he looked like? And she says, no. And like, anything? Did he have any markings? What was he wearing? And it was like, that's why it's like, how does this woman even go to the police? That's not even fair.
No, you can't. But it's like, if she went to the hospital, there would be all sorts of reports done on it. There's no way that people.
But she wouldn't be able to tell the truth. I think they would send her to a psych ward.
They would send her to a psych ward. Yeah, they probably would.
And think she did it to herself.
Oh, that's crazy.
So that's even worse. That's why
so much worse.
They need to dive into what happens with this woman.
Yeah, I want to see that movie.
Yo, I want to see it from when she's crying curled up in the corner of the bed to an hour and a half of what happens after.
No, you know what else I want to see? I want to see the lead up to it. I want to see what her life was like when she's just normally getting
is she
dressed.
Dating a guy and all these things, and she was lotioning up to go on a date.
Or maybe she was just lotioning up and she was gonna call her grandma.
Who knows? But that is the movie I want as well. So back at the lab, all the doctors, they grab tranquilizers guns because they think they're gonna go out looking for him. And they grab the thermal goggles, and then right then he shows up. Okay. And they're like, where the hell you been? He was like, I was at my apartment. I needed to pick some stuff up. And they're like, bullshit. And she's like, I went to your place. I saw your face and your clothes there. And then she goes, let me tell you something, Sebastian. You leave this compound again, I'll go to the committee myself. And he's like, and what, throw your career away? And she's like, try me. And he's like, all right. He backs off. Like, okay. I'm officially a lab rat, I guess. And Brolin's like, dude, you volunteered. And then you see he walks off all pissed. Mm-hmm. And Linda and Brolin look at each other and they go, he's been changed longer than any animal. We have no idea what this is doing to his mind.
How long had Isabella been changed?
3 days. He's already going on 2 weeks.
But they didn't have the serum to turn her back. So they knew that in 3 days they would get the serum.
No, I mean the dog's clearly been changed longer than that.
Yeah.
But he's been changed longer than any of the animals.
Okay.
So the other guy gives tests on Sebastian, right? One of the other doctors. And he's saying all the things that he would love to do if he was invisible, right? Mm-hmm. And he asked Sebastian if he did anything while he was out. And he's like, no, I didn't do anything. He goes, well, this is how he says it too. Well, there was this one girl. And the guy laughs. He's like, oh, snap. Did you mess with her? And he's like, I guess you could say I scared her a little. And the guy's like, ha ha. And he's like, and let me tell you something. I kind of liked it. And he's like, that's my man, right?
Can't pound.
It is funny, though, because the guy is like, wow, he didn't know he was pounding a rape. like straight up, not sexual assault, not like he said. No, we're talking about
like
rape,
against her will. She is crying and screaming.
Where were her neighbors?
Not even like a misunderstanding.
No. No. We're talking about Law and Order SVU.
Yo, can you imagine Olivia? Ice-T would be like, so you're saying.
So you saying an invisible man stuck his invisible penis in your real vagina? Well, that's the craziest thing I've heard since Tuesday. And it's like, what did he hear on Tuesday? So we see the covers. All right. Our girl Linda's asleep.
Oh.
And we see the covers fall off her. And we see her super hot body. She's really hot, by the way, for 40-something.
She is a very attractive woman.
She's really attractive. Because she's hot in the boys.
She's hot all the time. And what I like about her is she like some people are hot because they have a very unique look.
Yes.
She has a very classic look, but it's still unique to her.
Lil Wayne.
Yes.
He looks like that.
Only he looks
so
like that.
So it kind of makes him hot.
But she has this very classical look, but it's still Elizabeth Shue. I know I wouldn't mix her up
She's
with another
classically
person.
beautiful.
She's
but,
very
but
classically
yeah, her
beautiful.
face is her face.
Yeah.
So you see someone starts unbuttoning her shirt, and then you see this is the part where it's like, yo, wake up. He slides her panties off.
Yo, who's sleeping through this?
Yo, to even make that happen though, you have to arch. Panties don't come off like that. You have to lift.
Yeah, you have to lift.
And you see her panties come off, and then someone spreads her legs, and then she wakes up in a panic.
Oh, gosh.
All right? But she's still she was dreaming. And someone calls her, and it's Josh Brolin. And he says he figured it out. All right? They show up to the lab, and apparently he has 95% of it figured out. He's almost done. And Sebastian goes off on how this isn't even worth my time. You can't do any of my work, you fucking idiot. Like, he's just angry.
Well, why can't he just fix the other 5%? Like,
I don't know.
Also, just because you're invisible, you can no longer do...
Get help.
Yeah.
Help out, bro. Stop raping people.
Take the time to do what you do. You're a scientist. Also, do you think that's why he's raping everyone? Because he's been a scientist all his life and he could never really get some unless it was...
No, this guy gets some.
No, but like...
This guy gets some.
Okay.
Have you seen Kevin Bacon?
No, I've seen Kevin Bacon, but sometimes you're like so into your work that you don't have the time.
No,
to make
he's
it
not
happen.
one of those. He's into himself.
Okay.
They set that
He's
up that
Tony
he drives
Stark.
the Porsche and that he's a womanizer and like all this
He's
stuff.
Tony Stark.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a genius, but it's like, no, he ain't no nerd though.
Okay.
He rapes women. I don't know if you heard me when I said that. So Linda says to Sebastian like how he like, hey, you're being an asshole to Matt. You know, he's trying to help you, blah, blah, blah.
Matt is Josh Brolin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then he goes, no, I'm not. He's like, maybe we're looking at this wrong. Maybe what happened to me is a gift. Maybe you all should let me explore it and we really see what I can do. And she's like, no. And then he grabs her and he throws her on the wall.
So does he have more strength or something?
No, he's just
you
being can't
aggressive.
See him.
Yeah.
So you don't know, like, that is like anybody, like if they run up on you and throw you, like grab you and push you on, like you're not going to have defense.
I guess I'm saying that because he said, well, let's let this happen and see what I can do. And it's like, well, you can be invisible in a lot of situations. That's what else do we need to figure out?
You want to rob a bank?
You're invisible.
Robbing a bank. That's the only thing you can do.
And rape women, apparently.
Yeah. I don't condone that one.
Or
I condone the
to
bank robbery.
conversations you shouldn't be listening to.
That sounds awesome too. I would like to know what people say about me when I'm not around.
But you know what? I don't think we need to do any scientific experiments to figure that out. I think we could just take that as a given.
That is true. It's like, yo, all you can do is eavesdrop on people. So it's like, yo, your superpower is just finding out that people don't like you as much as you think. Or your superpower is going to find out that like, oh, wait, my breath stinks and nobody tells me? What? They just talk about it amongst each other?
You don't like my haircut?
What? Like, that's going to be your power, bro, is finding out little things about yourself that hurt your feelings. So he throws her against the wall and he rubs her face and he goes, I'm a prisoner here. And you see him start kissing her neck. Right? Because he's in his he's not invisible. He's in his mask and stuff. And then she goes, because he grabs her and he's like, wow, you were at home fucking your boyfriend. And she pushes it like, he says like, I've been turning into a god or something, right? And then she pushes him off and she says, you know what bothers you the most? Is that you don't have, she's like, you know what I don't know bothers you the most? Is that you don't have a life anymore or that I do now? Ooh. And she walks off. So he lays at night thinking, and he's just sitting there and he's rolling over, and then finally he gets up and he looks at his security camera, and then he kind of goes and he fiddles with it. All right? The guy watching, it looks like he put it on a loop, so it looks like he's just in bed.
How could he do that from the camera? That would be something you'd have to do from the computer.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's the camera, and then he goes to like the hardwire, and he like changes out the hardwire. Like he's that kind of smart.
Okay.
It's just on a loop now of him sleeping. So cut to, we see him in the real world now. He sneaks out and he climbs a ladder outside these apartments and he's spying on Linda. And Josh comes over. And Linda but this is what also is like, how horny is this couple? Or how long have they been dating? Because I'm talking about, he opens the door, she drops her pants.
Well, it's a secret romance.
Oh, so I guess that would be
so
exciting.
As long as it's a secret, it will always be hot and heavy. Yeah.
Because it's like, yo, if you're dating, you don't see each other and go pants. It's like, hey,
it's
you
a
hungry?
Secret. They've been thinking, because you can't even express it in like normal.
None of your friends know. Nobody knows.
No one knows. So it's like as soon as you see each other, you immediately go to that place.
That's a good point. So also her butt looks amazing. You see her and Josh Brolin. You see his abs, and he picks her up and he lays her on the bed. And they're right when they're about to start smashing, someone smashes their window with a brick.
Ooh.
Right? And they look around and they look outside and they see, like, it looks like, they don't see anything, but you hear someone going down the stairs, like the fire escape stairs. And they go, what the So they call the lab and they're like, yo, is he, we'll do it with Sebastian there? And the guy's like, yeah, he's here. And they're like, are you sure? And he's like, I'm looking at him right now. I'm staring at him. Do you want me to go wake him up? And they're like, no, don't wake him up. We didn't know. Okay. So back at the lab, we see Kevin's now there. And he's got his skin stuff on and he's going off about how, oh, I'm not good enough for her. You fucking bitch. Huh? But you're with that loser. You're going to be with him. And the dog, remember the invisible dog? It keeps barking while he's going off. And he's going off. And
it's finally, still invisible?
It's still invisible.
See, how can he be invisible for longer than any of the animals? The dog is still invisible.
Wow. You just blew my mind.
Yo, Hollow Man, people who made this movie, you got loopholes. Yeah.
You got some holes in it, guys.
You got some holes.
You got some holes in the script. I know you were a little busy on like, how do we get invisible rape in here? And you found that one.
How do we construct Kevin Bacon's CGI penis?
But you never once considered your dialogue.
Yeah.
It really does. You know what's funny when you talk about a movie like this? Because I am enjoying this. I enjoyed the movie watching it. Are you enjoying? Like, I like this movie.
This is crazy.
This is crazy. But it really makes you appreciate like Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, people who have all of their holes filled.
And it's like, wow, you really like, you didn't just write it, and this wasn't like the second draft. Like Django Unchained was probably draft number 50.
Oh yeah, but I mean, also Tarantino's not bothering himself with things like CGI
penises.
And that for him it is all about the dialogue.
The dialogue, because everything else you can build out, you can go from there.
Oh yeah, and also, I mean, I've said this before. He's making plays. Those feel like stage performances that they've reconstructed for
on a movie
movies.
set.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they gave him a big budget.
But yeah, that's why it would matter more to him. Whereas the most important thing about this is that Kevin Bacon is naked the entire movie, whether you can see it or not.
It's that you know that.
You know, it's that we're thinking about the fact that Kevin Bacon,
Footloose, is raping people in this.
more like Dick Loose.
Oh, give me some. That was good. So, oh God. So the dog keeps barking and barking and barking, and you see him take his skin off and stuff, and he goes up to the dog, and he starts petting it, and then he grabs it, and you don't see, because you only see it in thermal, so they're able to show it, but he smashes the dog to death, blood everywhere, all over the cage. But what I like is this is cool.
Wait, using the dog, he's smashing it against the ground, or is he
against its cage.
Oh, okay.
Like with its legs, like smashing it like a rag doll.
What kind of dog is it?
A cute little cutie dog.
Oh, a small dog. I've been imagining like a retriever.
No. One of those little cute house dogs, but like a cute one.
Oh, like a Bichon.
Yes.
No.
And because also you see the blood in its body and brains going all over the cage, and then they show the cage, and it's just invisible. It's just an empty cage.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
So, short-haired girl comes in the next morning, and she sees the dog's cage, and it's not barking, and she's like, "What the fuck?" And then she goes and looks at the thermal, and there's blood in its body everywhere. Mm-hmm. And she's like, "Sebastian!" And she runs. She's like, "Are you awake?" And she's like, "Did you notice anything unusual last night?" And he's like, "No." And she's like, "Well, Franklin 3 is dead. Franklin the 3rd is dead. So maybe you heard something." And he goes, "You accusing me?" And she's like, "No, it doesn't make sense." And he's like, "Hey, I know how you feel about the animals, but animals fucking die. Get over it." And he walks off. So they watch the tape, and then apparently he never left his room.
Oh, because he had the loop on.
Mm-hmm. So at Linda's place, you see her window is still broken, right? And the wind. Also, this is it doesn't make any sense. She's in her room like doing work, but the wind's just blowing in. Like she didn't put up a bag,
like a trash bag
nothing.
Or something.
Just glass is still on the floor.
Gosh.
And so she hears something, and she's like, "Sebastian, this is not funny, Sebastian." And she grabs a blanket and she throws it, and it looks like it lands on a person, and then like somebody kind of backs out of it and falls on the floor. So she runs out of her place and hops in her car and speeds down to the lab. She's like, "Where is he?" And they're like, "He's asleep." And she goes and she looks at the tape and she sees him asleep. She runs in the room and like puts her hands on the bed.
Nothing.
Empty.
Of course.
And she's like, she goes to the camera. It's rigged.
Of course.
Like, shit. So she calls all the scientists and tells them all to get here now. Something's wrong with Sebastian. Like, he's been going crazy.
Yeah.
So all the scientists show up, and we see Sebastian outside the lab, like outside because he's invisible, like outside the warehouse, watching them all pull in, one by one, car by car. Okay?
Oh, jeez.
So Linda says how she's going to go to the committee, right? "I'm done with this. I'm going to the committee." Josh Brolin goes off about like, "Hey, yeah, you're right. We have to take full responsibility. We're all going to lose our jobs." And then the other people are like, "We're going to lose our jobs. We didn't even know that the committee didn't know about this. This is bullshit." And then they're like, "No, me and Linda will take full responsibility. You guys will be fine." Linda and Brolin go to leave to see the committee. We see Sebastian like in a corner just watching them talk about what they're going to do, like how they're about to tell on him. Okay? So we see Sebastian outside. You see his perspective of watching Linda and Brolin talk to the general guy. It's like late at night in his house. And the general guy goes, "Well," he tells me to go back to the lab and clear out their offices. You guys are done. Thanks for having the courage to tell me this, but like, you can't do that.
Well, what's this guy's plan? There's an invisible man on the loose. He's just like, "Well, I'll fire you, and that'll solve the problem."
He's gonna send a team of
a SWAT team.
Yeah, and they're gonna find him.
Nice.
So the guy goes. He goes to call. Like they leave, and he goes to call the other generals and National Guard and all that. His phone line is dead. He's like, "What the fuck?" He looks at his back door. His back door is just swinging open. So he goes out.
Why would you just go out? You work for the military. There's no
Be
way.
nervous. There's an invisible man out there.
You know this. They told you.
So he goes in his backyard. He has a pipe, right? And he lights his pipe and he's smoking. And he's looking around, and then he inhales and he turns back around and he blows it out. And of course, it's there. So like you see the smoke impression of Sebastian, which is very scary, actually.
Is he like really close to him?
Yeah, like right here. And he's like, "Oh!" And he's like, "Hi, boss." And he grabs him and he throws him in his pool. So now you see like a water Sebastian drowning a guy.
Oh, jeez.
And he's screaming, "Help! Help!" And his wife comes down. She's like, it looks like he's just drowning in the pool.
Yeah.
And he comes down, "Help! Help! Howard!" And then you see Kevin Bacon drown and kills him. And then he gets out the water and you see like a man. And then as he dries off, you see like the water falls off him and he runs away. The wife comes out, her husband's dead. Linda gets to work the next day. Sebastian is there. And she sees him. She's like, oh, Sebastian. He's like, hi. And she's like, I got to go do something. And she hurries by him, right? And he's like, oh, no good morning for me? And she's like, no, I'm good morning. I'm just in a hurry. And she's like, I'm just busy. And she runs away. Mm-hmm. And he's like, that's okay. It'll be a busy day today. And he kind of walks off whistling to himself. So Linda and Josh they're sitting there, they're talking to the other people, the other scientists, and they're like, they can't believe the committee hasn't called. No one's called. What's going on? Yeah. So Linda's like, fuck this. And she picks up the phone. She calls the general herself, finds out he died last night. He drowned in his pool right when they left. So, of course, they all look at each other. They hang up. They go to call someone else. All the phone lines cut out. And they go, oh, shit, we have to elevate. We have to alert security. We have to. So they go to the elevator, and they try to go upstairs to alert security.
It's all done.
Elevator's not working. Their authorization codes are invalid. None of their codes work. All of them try their codes. None of their codes work. They tell them, like, oh, shit, we have a problem. And then they're like, yo, how long will it take before anyone comes down and, looks for us? And they're like, days. Like, no one's going to come down here because the security knows the rules. Yeah. They're not allowed down here. They're like, shit. So they check the system, and they find out all of their access codes have been removed except for Sebastian's.
He's God.
Mm-hmm. So yo, we have to find Sebastian. This is crazy. So they all grab their tranquilizer guns. They all grab their goggles. The black girl's like, oh shit. They all go running out. She's like, oh, I left my goggles. She goes back to grab her goggles, puts them on. Right when she puts them on and turns around, Sebastian's there. Hey, Janice. Strangles her with her wire. Black girl dies first. Obviously, it's 2000. They go to Sebastian's room. He isn't in there. On the intercom, they hear, I'm sorry, Linda, but I'm not going to let you turn me in. This power, this freedom, I can't let it go. And then they're like, whatever you're planning, Sebastian, it's not going to work. Oh, yes, it will. They're like, we already told the what's called. And they're like, doesn't he? And he goes, I took care of that problem. And I took care of it before he told anybody. Everyone in this room, everyone in this basement is the only people who know about this. And he kind of laughs. So they all know, oh, shit. That's why you always got to tell somebody. Or, leave a backup file on your computer or something.
Yeah.
You know? So no one says anything. And then he goes, it's amazing. And then Kevin Bacon says, it's amazing what you can accomplish when you don't have to look at yourself in the mirror.
That's true.
That's not true. That's pretty true.
That's true. I will say the less I look at myself in the mirror, the better
the more capable you are of raping a woman.
Well, that for sure. But I mean, just in general.
So right then they look around, they go, oh shit, where's Janice? Janice! And they take off running. They go back to the lockers. They realize, they see through the thermals, a body is in the locker. They open it. Janice falls out. She's dead. They're like, oh shit. She was choked to death. They're like, how could he do this? He snapped. And then she was like, no, this is even worse than snap. He's planned all this.
Yeah.
Right? So they go, well, damn, what do we do? And they're like, well, no one knows anything. So all he has to do is just kill us all. And he can disappear.
He can just disappear.
He can literally just disappear. So the short-haired girl literally slaps the shit out of Linda.
Why? It's not Linda's fault.
That's what she says.
No, it's not Linda's. You just want to blame another woman because she's there.
You put us in this shit. Linda kind of put him in that. She encouraged all of this.
Oh, she was.
Linda didn't encourage all this? Him turning invisible, him not telling the committee, all that stuff.
I thought that it was all his idea, and they were like, yeah, they both wanted the fame.
Yeah, that's kind of on her.
Well, why not Josh Brolin as well?
Oh, it's a woman thing.
Yeah, it is a woman thing. That's what I said.
Josh Brolin's hot.
That's true.
So Linda says, we're taking him down. Fuck that. So they use all their thermal scans. They have these thermal scans on the building where they can't see him, but they can see a thermal dot. So they know what room he's in at least. They see what room he's in. Brolin and the other guy go, we'll corner him. So they split and go around to corner him like that, right? They also one of the other doctors finds an access ladder, but it's in the elevator. So we'll all get to that. But we gotta stop him. Yeah. Right? So Brolin and the other dude, they somehow, right, because Linda's talking to him through the intercom. And all right, you're both coming up on him. And then they're like, oh, she's like, oh, he's gone. He's gone. And they're like, how did he get by us? And then they think they see him, but it's just steam. And apparently they can't see him because he's in the steam.
Okay.
All right. There's steam coming out of one of the pipes. He let steam out one of the pipes.
Oh, so because of the thermal. Yeah. It's messing that up.
So right then one of the friends turns around and Josh Brolin's like, I can't find him. And he sees the other friend, Josh Brolin sees his other friend getting choked out in the air. He's like, ah, and then he's shooting at like the pipes, and he shoots and he hits one, and you see steam come out, and you see Sebastian is on top of the pipes, and he's choking him like that, right?
Yeah.
And then he drops the guy, and the guy's head hits another pipe. Boom! And you see blood squirt out everywhere.
Jeez.
Okay. Sebastian runs off. Josh Brolin tries to run too, and Sebastian locks them both in a room. And she's like, he's on your side of the door. Matt, he's on your side of the door. Brolin puts his glasses on looking for him, but the steam is messing up everything. He can't see anything. And he throws him down. He's like, fuck it. And then Linda's like, I got to go save him. She tells the short hair girl, I got to go save him. Right? So you hear Sebastian messing with Josh Brolin. And he's like, Marco, Polo. He's like, come on. You think you can take me, Sebastian? Come on. And he grabs a fire extinguisher and he's looking for him, spraying it. And you hear Sebastian go, you borrowed my life. And then he's like, and then Brolin's like, she left you. Don't you remember? Yeah, she left you for a loser. She left me for a loser. I can't believe she'd be with a loser like you. And he starts punching Brolin. Sebastian starts beating him up. And then Linda comes in and saves him. Right? And you see like she hits him with something. And you see our boy Sebastian run off. Okay? The other two doctors come in and they start trying to help the guy who's bleeding out of his head. Okay? Short hair girl goes, I'll go get something. We got to save him. So she runs off and she's like, we got to get blood. So she goes to the freezer and gets a bunch of blood out. And she's running out. The door closes. Boom, to the room she's in. She's like, Sebastian? Sebastian? Nothing. So she opens up all the packets of blood and squirts them all around her.
Yeah.
So now she can see if he walks up. She's like, you move, you son of a bitch. She's got the gun. She's like, I got you. Right? Nothing happens. She turns around. She gets punched in the face.
Wow.
He was behind her. He punched her in the face. So now she like skids across the blood. She opens up her last packet and throws it on him. So now there's blood all on Sebastian.
Yeah.
And he jumps on top of her and he grabs the gun and he points it at her, the little tranquilizer gun. She's like, no, please, Sebastian, please. He shoots her asleep. And then he grabs her head and he's like, I always liked your feistiness. And he snaps her neck.
Oh.
So now she's dead.
Wow, why is this so graphic?
Linda and Brolin are still looking after Head Wound Guy. Head Wound Guy dies.
Of course.
So now it's Brolin, it's one of the other doctors, this like nerdy kind of guy, and Linda. Those are the three left now.
Well, they got to kill the nerdy guy before they kill Linda and Josh.
So they go looking for Sarah. Brolin grabs another fire extinguisher. They notice in the room that like a body has been dragged through the blood into the freezer, right? So they all run in and they see Sarah's body and she's dead. And they're like, oh shit. And then right then as they're looking at her, the nerdy friend gets stabbed through his body with a crowbar.
Oh.
Yeah, vicious.
That's awful.
Stabbed right through the chest. Josh Brolin runs out to try and help him. Sebastian, bam, catches him right in the side.
Oh.
Goes right through his side. Then pushes him in the freezer. Linda is already in the freezer. He closes it. And then he cuts the temperature down to like -20.
Oh, so he's just going to freeze her to
Freeze
death.
them both to death. And he's like, enjoy your boyfriend. And he walks off. And they're like, fuck. And Brolin's like bleeding out of his stomach. So she's like, we got to close the wound. So she duct tapes his stomach up, right?
Yeah.
We see Kevin Bacon outside. He's cleaning himself up. He showers, get all the blood off of him. He puts on clothes, puts on his skin mask, like draws eyebrows on himself. You know what I mean? It's freezing in the room now. Freezing. And she's like, I need you to stay awake. Talk to me. And you see Brolin pass out, right? And they're like freezing. They're both like covered in like ice now, you know? Yeah. And she tries to use the crowbar to break the window. Nothing happens. She falls in despair. She sits for like a couple seconds and she's like about to like freeze to death. And she goes, you see, she looks at Josh Brolin who's barely breathing. And she's like, I'm not going to die here. She breaks off a handle to a drawer. She uses, the clear, that thing. She ties it up to the handle, uses all the wires and does a bunch of science shit, right? She cuts it back on and now the handle is a magnet. Like all the metal in the room, shink, goes to the door, the handle. So outside, we see Kevin Bacon has built a bomb using like all the science chemicals they have. Yeah. He made a bomb. Okay. Linda uses the magnet. So because it's a freezer door. So the lock is like one of those, like if I'm closing the door, right? Boom. I would lock it like this. I'd take the little thing and I'd slide it like that.
Okay. Yeah.
So she cuts the metal thing on. So now it attracts, and then she's like, and unlocks it like that.
Nice. Science,
right? My favorite part of Scary Movie 2. Do you remember you seen Scary Movie 2? Where they go to the haunted house? Take my strong hand.
Yeah,
that
I
one.
haven't seen that one in a long time, but I have an idea.
Where David Cross in the wheelchair and you got that one, right? You know what I'm talking about a little bit? That one?
I think I do. They all mix together, except for the third one's totally different.
They make fun of it in that movie where they get locked in a freezer.
Oh, okay.
And you see, and she's like, I'm not gonna die like this. And you see her doing all the things that they did in this movie, and then the camera pans back, and she built like a tractor. And she like the tractor goes. That was one of my favorite jokes they did.
That's really.
But
funny.
it hit really hard because I had seen this movie already.
Yes.
So, she gets him out, and she makes like a little fire dumpster, and she drags Brolin out the freezer, and she's like, I'll be back for you, I promise, right? And she grabs not a fire extinguisher, but like a flamethrower kind of thing off the wall, right? And then we see Kevin Bacon. He sets the bomb timer for 5 minutes and then destroys it so it can't be undone. Uh-huh. And then we see him go to the elevator and he hits the button and he's about to leave. And she goes, hey, Sebastian. And he looks up and she burns him with the fire.
Oh.
Like the flamethrower.
Yeah.
She's like, you think you're a god? I'll show you a god. Burns him up. And he finally gets out the elevator and he runs by her. And you see him like tear off all his clothes that are getting burnt off. Uh-huh. And he becomes like invisible again.
Ooh.
Okay. So she thinks for a second, and then she uses the rest of the flames and sprays the sprinklers. Mm-hmm. So now all the sprinklers are going.
Oh, so it'll be wet.
So he's wet. And then you see water everywhere, and then you see him walk up as a water thing and punch her right in the face. And he goes, I love how he's been trying to get back with her this whole movie.
Yeah.
And he goes, I always knew you were a bitch. And he hits her and he kicks her. And he's like, no wonder it didn't work out between us. You're a bitch. And he keeps hitting her. And it's like, yo, who wrote this?
Who wrote this?
So right then, Josh Brolin comes up and smashes him behind the head with the crowbar. Bam.
Whoa. Okay.
All right. And then
was he even able to get up?
He's hobbling.
Yeah.
And he looks at Linda. He's like, I thought I'd save you for a change. And this is what I hate about any movie ever. He smashes him across the head once, and then he just walks off. They just walk off.
That's it?
That's it. They don't think to hit him again. Really kill this guy.
Make sure he's done.
We have to kill this. This is a problem.
Or at least tie him up somehow.
We got to do something. So, they hit him and he walks off, right? Our boy comes to, picks the crowbar back up, goes to hit Brolin. Last second, Brolin turns around, dodges it, and he misses, and he goes right into the electrical wires. And you see him all come back. Now you can see him. So you can see his electricity, you can see his bones and his tendons.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he's all fried, and then he falls out. Okay?
When he falls out, is he visible or invisible?
You see his tendons and his muscles.
Okay.
Like the muscle tendons, and you see bones.
All right.
Okay? So they run over to check the bomb that he made, and they realize they can't stop it, and they're like, "Oh shit, we got to get out of here." So they get to the access elevator, the access ladder in the elevator. They start climbing up. They climb. 3, 2, 1. The whole lab blows up.
Wow.
Everything in the lab blows up. The bomb goes off, rocking the whole lab. Right, everything in the lab is eviscerated. They look down, and they see the elevator is now being pushed up by the fire.
Oh.
And they're like, "Oh shit!" So they get super close to the wall, and it flies by them. Right?
Wow, yeah.
And then they go, "Oh, it's coming back down." So they climb down, and then as it comes down, it starts to like
because it's not on the wires anymore.
It just got blown up.
Yeah.
And it's on one wire, but that's it.
Okay.
Like that's still connected, and then it falls and it kind of like falls like that right before it hits them.
Oh wow.
Okay?
It gets caught.
And so they start trying to climb past it. Right? They climb past it. Brolin gets past it. She gets past it. They keep climbing up. We see from Sebastian's point of view, he is on the elevator. Like he's on top of the elevator and he jumps off.
How did he get up there?
Don't know. Don't ask questions, Sam. Don't ask questions. He jumps off and he grabs her, right? And they fall back onto the elevator. And you see Brolin trying to go down, but the ladder's broken, so he can only go so far. So now they're fighting on top of the elevator. Mm-hmm. And Sam, like any fight ever, any fight you've ever been in your life, you're beating somebody up and then you stop and you go, how about one last kiss?
Well, this guy also raped an unsuspecting woman.
Sucked on a boob.
Yeah. His also someone he works with, not just
I know.
Not just a random boob.
He has to see this lady again.
Yeah.
He has her. He goes, how about one last kiss for old time's sake? They kiss, And she's like, and then she does the classic thing that you do, and any woman should do if, you're fighting somebody and then they say, how about one last kiss for old time's sake? You kiss them. To distract them. Like you kiss them and then you lean into the kiss.
Yeah.
And you hold them close. And then she grabs the elevator rope.
Yeah.
And then there's a little detach button. And she hits it with her foot. And she's like, go to hell. Clink. And she like goes flying up. And then he goes falling in slow-mo. He lands in the fire.
Whoa.
Okay. She gets back up to Brolin. They hug. Brolin looks down at the fire and he goes, oh my God. And she looks at him and she goes, not a god anymore.
Oh.
Wait, what were you going to say?
I thought she was going to say, I'm God.
Ugh, that she should have.
She should have.
And then
she did kill him.
They go upstairs. All the ambulance and police are there. Credits start rolling like it's a Die Hard scene. Like the end of Die, you know what I mean? Where you see the ambulance and the fire truck and they're getting like helped and it pans back and the credits are rolling. Hollow Man.
Who wrote this movie? Look it up right now.
So was that the greatest movie you've ever seen or top 5?
Oh my gosh.
Top 5?
I just don't understand. If I'm Kevin Bacon, this is 2000, you said, right?
Yep.
Height of my career. I've done everything. And they've already created the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon like challenge thing. I see this script and I'm like, this seems like something I need to be a part of.
Yo, so the dude who wrote this also wrote RoboCop.
Okay.
Showgirls, which is also one of the greatest movies of all time.
Also a crazy movie.
No, he didn't write. No, this is the director. I'm sorry.
Oh,
the dude who directed this.
I want to know the writer. I want to know who's
brain. He made Total Recall. Wow, he made Total Recall as well. RoboCop, Showgirls, Starship Troopers, which actually is an awesome movie.
I've never seen that.
All right, let's see. That's the director though. The director's name is Paul Verhoeven. Screenplay by Andrew W. Marlowe. What else did you do, Andrew? Was it just this? I'm assuming.
Wow, there's not a lot there.
Wow, he wrote Air Force One.
Really?
End of Days, and then Hollow Man. And that was his whole career in 2000. That was his career.
His last movie, too.
Wait a minute. Nope. Yeah, that was his last movie. And then he wrote for, this is what he wrote for the show The Castle, or Castle.
Oh, I like that show.
Yeah, he wrote.
That has the guy from Firefly in it.
Oh, he created that show.
That show was not bad. I watched like the first 2 seasons of that.
And then he also is the creator of the new Equalizer with Queen Latifah. You know where Queen Latifah's a 50-year-old woman kicking ass on the streets?
Oh, the one that they just started advertising?
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks crazy good.
That looks crazy bad. Is that what you meant to say?
But like crazy good in like a bad way.
Oh, like this?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that's what he makes.
Yeah, that's obviously what this guy does. It's so funny. They saw Hollow Man and they're like, okay, we'll make this, but no more movies for you.
I can't believe he wrote Air Force One, though. That's like a great movie.
I've never seen that movie either.
That's the get off my plane. You never heard that line from Harrison Ford?
Sounds like something
that's one of the classic lines. Like, get off my plane. That's his classic line. But yeah, this movie, I mean, Air Force One made over $300 million in the box office. Like, it was a huge, but that was his first movie he wrote. So he started hot.
And
he really lost it.
He kind of fizzled.
End of Days with Arnold Schwarzenegger. So they gave him another big one. Did okay. $100 million budget, $212 in the box office. So it doubled its profits at least. Probably a really bad movie, though, because I've never heard of it.
What production company put out Hollow Man?
Who said okay?
Who backed this?
Who said okay? Sony.
I mean, you mess up Spider-Man and...
Yo, you got to give the guy credit. All 3 of the movies he ever wrote were hits. This movie, $95 million budget, $190 million at the box office.
That doesn't mean that it was his fault that it was a hit. I mean, the cast is huge.
No, I'm not saying it's it's him. That's why it's a hit. I'm saying those are the 3 movies he made.
I get that.
All were box office smashes.
They're all box offices, but everyone in those movies is like a massive actor. Like,
oh yeah.
If you tell
Harrison Ford.
Yeah. Oh, Harrison Ford. I like Harrison Ford. I want to see that.
Schwarzenegger.
I like Schwarzenegger. I want to see that.
Kevin Bacon.
And Elizabeth Shue and
Kevin
Josh
Bacon
Brolin.
has his penis in it.
Why? I gotta go see this.
Yo, $95 million budget. $45 million of that was for that CGI penis.
Yo, this movie is so upset. This is more upsetting than No Country for Old Men.
Wow, you want to hear something?
Yeah.
So to achieve the effects of Sebastian being invisible, Bacon was digitally removed from the footage, and each scene was shot twice. One with the actor and once without the actor, for the background to be able to be seen through Sebastian's body. That's crazy.
So they didn't put him in a green
No,
suit.
they didn't.
They just shot it twice. Wow,
They used a motion control camera.
That's hard on the other actors because they have to hit all the same blocking spots.
Exactly the same, yeah. Wow. So he wore a latex bodysuit, though. And it was all the color green, which I figured.
Oh, okay.
To get the invisible shots. Wow. Well, yo, the special effects got nominated for an Oscar for this movie.
Wow.
Lost to Gladiator.
That makes sense.
What? That does not make sense. This was terrible, the special effects in this.
I'm going to say Gladiator was better.
Oh, yeah.
Also, I've never seen that movie. I'm just guessing it is.
Yo, this movie was inspired because the guy, his daughter gave him books about, like, invisible, about, what's that? E. Corches. Oh, his daughter gave him a book on the body without skin, like what the body looks like. And he was really interested in that.
And so that spawned this whole narrative about a man who can rape as he wants.
The scene of an invisible Sebastian raping a woman was shot in 2 versions. Wow, with the second showing her screaming as she is raped. The first was used when preview audiences reacted with disdain, deeming it painful, and feeling it alienated them from Sebastian too early.
Wait, so it used to be worse? How could the scene have been worse? How did they make it?
Apparently, they didn't want to do it because they said a woman being raped by an invisible man would look silly. Their words.
I mean, silly. Well, talking about it seems silly, but then actually thinking about what it would be like, it's very tragic.
That is insane. Movie camera so the audience would feel that the actor was in the special effects shot. We wanted a coherence between the special effects and the actor so people would accept the effects as a part of the actor's scene rather than rather than just seen as a special effect. Wow, they really thought too much about something so terrible and not the script.
Yeah, but I mean, this is 2000. This is the same era that created the Star Wars prequels and CGI then.
Yeah, you know why? Because CGI was new. And they were so excited.
Everyone's so stoked to use it. They're like, CGI, let's get on that.
And they never considered how bad it looked.
Well, because they didn't know. It was better than what they had.
Yep. But where they messed up was they thought that they could base movies around it. Like how this is based around it. Oh, yeah,
this whole movie,
the prequels was based around it. And it's like, no. What makes CGI good is when you use it when you need it.
Yes. It's a tool.
It's a tool. Everything else, why the original Star Wars or why the Marvel movies or all that stuff so good is because they use actual effects and then CGI around it.
Yes. To fill in the gaps.
Fill in the gaps. Don't use it as a base. Unless you're James Cameron.
It's
then
also,
do whatever
I think,
you want.
some of it is with CGI, like if I'm already paying for the CGI, right?
Yes.
Like as a production.
Uh-huh.
In my mind, let's just use one whole big CGI effect versus paying for all these other effects and then filling in the gaps with CGI because now I'm paying double almost. I think it was probably a financial choice.
Yeah.
I
mean, you have a $95 million budget. You can figure that out.
You can do whatever you want.
Because I've seen movies we both have movies with an $8 million budget or a $2 million budget that are some of the best movies ever. Mm-hmm. So it's like, or you could just focus on the script a little bit.
Maybe just think about what they're saying.
For a second.
Yeah.
Especially, this is what makes me mad. You had the actors to get it done.
Oh, yeah. Everyone in that movie
can act.
Yeah, they got bars. They can act.
So that's more annoying to me. It was when a movie has great actors in it. Like when a movie doesn't have good actors in it and the script's kind of bad, it's like whatever. All right, whatever. But when it's like, oh man, you had Idris Elba or you had this person.
Yeah.
Just, use them.
I'm sure Kevin Bacon was great in this because when he's ever kind of like a little bit of a bad guy, he really shines.
Because he's like, I'm a bad boy looking with this bad boy hair.
Well, he's got like that. He like looks like an elf, but like elves can be good and elves can be bad.
That's true. That's true. That's all we learned in this besides don't sexually assault women when you're invisible.
Yeah, maybe don't do that.
Is that elves can be good and elves can be bad. And I hope you learned today, Beans, as much as we all learned through Hollow Man.
We've all learned a lot.
And the things we shouldn't do. And, being seen and being heard. I think that's really what we learned
very
today.
Deep, yes.
To be seen and to be heard.
To be seen, be heard, but best be seen.
It's best. It's best to be seen for sure.
Yes.
Matching hats?
They don't match, but close.
We love you, Beans. We'll see you guys in a couple days.